Here in the city of Doors, Dame's troubles tend to go unheard. The factions keep their own law, and the average Joe, well, we're stuck carving out our own order. But Sigil isn't without help. When you've got a problem with no solution, a puzzle with no key, there's only one joint in town to turn to. They might not be the most professional outfit around, but they always solve the case. Because when you're desperate enough to turn to these idiots, you'll find your conundrum might just be open and shut.
Hello, and welcome to our little mystery-solving D&D campaign, folks. My name is Austin, and as always, I'm joined by a couple of bloods bashing around the cage. Say hello, everyone.
As always, it's a strong way to introduce Episode 1, Season 1 of the New World Order, Campaign 2.
I have to continue it from the first campaign. There needs to be some through line, some connection.
Of course.
Welcome to the very first episode, as spoiled by Red, of our second campaign. We are super excited. We're super excited to have you. We're super excited to be doing it, of course. If you are returning from Campaign 1, welcome back. We hope that you have as much fun with this campaign as we did with the first. If you are new, buckle up, because we're weird. No, but
so
hopefully you'll have
quirky.
just as much fun as everyone else. This is, if you don't know, we are continuing on in the same canon, the same setting, but completely different characters. Few characters, different levels, things like that. So we'll reveal that as we get into it. But before we get into it, I do have to throw it to Sophia because she has a very exciting announcement, perhaps even more exciting than the start of a new campaign. Sophia, tell the folks.
Thanks for throwing to me, Austin. Now, the weather out here, as you can see, is a little strange. There's some hail falling, and it's occasionally interrupted by some light showers, but ultimately, I didn't think through this bit ahead of time. So I'm just going to jump into the announcement, which is that we have pins! we have pins on sale! What? So cool. We are so excited. We've partnered with CrowdMade to do a limited run of enamel pins of our weirdest little dude, Plug, my sweet, sweet boy from the first campaign, our very special robot cat. Right now, if you go to the link in the show notes, you can pre-order your very own enamel plug pin as drawn by the lovely Wally. His little head is on a spring, so it bobbles. It's very cute, very cool. Promotional images inserted into video version here. He's a lovely enamel pin. You can put him on your bag, put him on corkboards, show him off to your pets, use him as a token on a battle map, whatever you want. The options are endless. And this pin pre-order will be open for 2 weeks, and then the pins will go into production and ship right on over to you. So if you want a plug of your very own, check out the link in the show notes below. Pre-order a little dude and enjoy. And as a reminder, these sales are open right now when you're listening to this episode until the 22nd. So please, if you are interested, if you love your boy, if you love the boy like I do, check out the enamel pins. They're so cool. I'm so excited about this, you guys.
It's awesome.
But with that, Austin, we're heading back onto the studio and back to you. I gotta rethink this bit. I didn't think through the bit at all ahead of time because I didn't want to do sports again. But I think I might have to do sports again.
If the bit's weather, that's very narrow. I would say there's 5 to 6 types of weather.
I mean, if you start getting weird bit, it's like... traffic on the 4 seems to be raining bugs and snails today. Over to you,
I think
Austin.
that's really what the bit is that we as a cast and also the listening audience, who will probably at me on Twitter and stuff, will workshop this bit together over the course of the season.
That's fair.
Yes. So we'll see how it goes. You write in your thoughts.
It's something completely new every time.
Yeah.
It's so much worse to commit to doing something completely new every time than to commit to one theme.
If there's one thing I can do, it's come up with endless little bits. And with that, why don't we jump into the greatest bit I've ever committed to producing this podcast?
I was gonna say, what is a D&D podcast if not competitive commitment to the bit?
Yeah. Oh man, well said. So jump on that. 2 weeks is not very long. Don't be like me and leave it until definitely the last minute before you back. Set a reminder for the last hour and be like, oh, hold on, I have to stop what I'm doing right now to go back, otherwise I'm going to miss this chance entirely. Anyway. Now that we've gotten announcements out of the way, everyone has their dice, their character sheets, hopefully everyone comfy. With no further ado, let's begin our first episode of Campaign 2 of Rolling with Difficulty. The city of Sigil sits at the center of the planescape. The hub on which every place you've ever been, filled with every sod you've ever met, turns. Of course, that's only usually said by the folk who are from Sigil, but what do the rest of them know anyway? Probably never been to a burg bigger than Signpost. Here, we're at the intersection of everywhere important, and we're the pit stop on the way to everywhere else. If you're a shaker, you've got a way in and out. The rest of us Burks do what we can to get by in the cage, because for us, that's all there is. But enough of me rattling my bone box. It's already 6 before peak. It's high time we met our cutters. I'm gonna roll a quick dice here to see who we're introduced to first.
So exciting!
Now, Red.
Oh.
I would like for you to describe your character, and at this time, 6 before peak is about 6 in the morning, what we would call our time. So noon they call peak, and they do the hours heading in either direction. So before peak is early in the morning, after peak is later in the afternoon. This early morning, where do you wake up? What do you find yourself doing? And most importantly, tell us a little bit about you.
Fantastic. All right. Bileyg, around this hour of the day, wakes up in his little apartment. You're going to need to help me out on this one, because I remember we discussed, when we were discussing where the office would be, you were like, this is the absolute worst neighborhood in the city, and this is like the second worst, and we settled on the second worst, and I was like, I probably live in the worst one.
Yes, so in the Hive Ward is where you live.
Yes, an extremely small, pretty ratty, but very neatly kept little apartment. A little apartment for a little man. Bileyg Calantro is a halfling. He is about, he seems to be like on the cusp of halfling middle age. Halflings live like about 150 years. He's about 50. He's just a little guy, you could say. He's got a pretty short crop of curly dark hair, slightly weathered face, tan skin. He's just woken up, you know, he's a slow waker. He's slow at most things. So he's probably puttering around in his tiny little apartment, making himself a modest halfling breakfast, only 2 courses, full pot of coffee, leftovers to bring with him to the office for the others who definitely don't feed themselves well enough. He gears up to prepare for his day. He briefly considers putting on the armor that he has bundled up in a neat little unassuming package under his bed, and instead pulls on his much heavier duty and significantly more mundane looking heavy armor, which gives me an AC of 18 instead of 15. And he's gonna head out and head for the office to start another bright shining day.
Fantastic. So you open your door, go down your little stairs from your little apartment, open your door out into the Hive Ward. This is the most overlooked, the most rundown, and by far the most dangerous ward of Sigil. Even the Dabus, the servants of the Lady of Pain, do not venture here, and so many things are not well kept. There's razor vine that covers a lot of the surfaces. There's potholes, buildings are starting to fall into shambles. This is usually the job of the Dabus to take care of this sort of mundane upkeep, but again, they don't venture here because it is considered too dangerous for them. However, among this hive of scum and villainy, there are many who seek to do good work here, basically venturing into the heart of danger to help those who need it most. This is a place of criminals and dangerous individuals, but also of philanthropic and very caring individuals who set up shop here. You head out into it's early morning hours, which means most people's work in the Hive Ward is just ending. A lot of people here doing their stuff by cover of night. So
I feel like this place is like night market central, and then there is literally
a place called the night market here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And as soon as the sun rises, it's just tumbleweeds and like the occasional very lost, very drunk person.
Yes, so that's exactly what you see. The last of the inhabitants of the hive are scrabbling away like cockroaches from the light. But there are 2 individuals standing outside your building that you see. One of them is a Yugoloth that you don't recognize, kind of like this purple spiky humanoid bug thing. Stands about like 4.5 feet tall. who is chatting with an individual who you do recognize. You see Sophia, who is a hound archon,
Whoa!
so kind of looks like a humanoid dog, right? Stands on 2 feet, has the body, very Egyptian god-looking, body of a man, head of a Great Dane, basically. He's got some nice, like, very well-kept, but somehow kind of simple armor with this kind of like golden edging to it. You suspect that if this were a less powerful or less important... This is the sign of someone who has great confidence to be walking around with gold exposed on their person in the Hive Ward. It's also interesting, as an Archon, he is a Celestial. He's like a demi-angel, and he's talking to a Yugoloth. That might be amazing to people not from Sigil, but here that's just run-of-the-mill. There's no great war here. Everyone's talking. Do you speak Abyssal... it's not... Wally, what's the language that do they just speak Abyssal, the Yugoloths? I can't remember now if they speak...
I believe so. It's either
Just
Abyssal or Infernal. So.
Gotcha. So they're speaking Abyssal. Do you speak Abyssal?
Strangely, I only speak Common and Halfling.
Fair enough. One of Satia's big things is that he can speak all languages magically, so he's conversing, and as you come out, he catches a glimpse of you, smiles, gives like a handshake to this Yugoloth, and kind of sends this creature on their way, and then turns to you, says, Bileyg, good morning.
Here comes trouble. What brings you to my neck of the woods so early?
Sadly, I'm off, and I was hoping to catch you before I had to leave. I've been summoned back to Mount Celestia, and I thought, before I leave, I had better see if there was any messages you hoped for me to relay.
Oh, well, that's real thoughtful of you, man. I mean, you know, the usual. Tell the wife I love her. If my daughter's around, you know, let her know the same. All the extended family, Chuck, Fred, Lillian, you know. If you get yourself down to level 3 again, I'm sure they'd love to have you, but...
I'll see what I can do. Their hospitality is always most warming.
Oh, a little too much warming
pass.
sometimes.
Indeed. I'm sometimes afraid that I'll be late to my next job when I'm with them. I will pass your love along. You sure that you don't want to move to a, more hospitable place within Sigil? I know many people who might be able to set you up with different housing or accommodations if you are looking to get out of this neighborhood.
What's wrong with this neighborhood? Tumbleweed rolls by, pulls a knife on like a passerby. You know, I mean, if everywhere in the Planescape was as nice as Mount Celestia, people like me wouldn't have jobs, you know?
Quite. It's places like the Hive Ward that keep me busy. Alright. I shall pass your love along. Take care of yourself, Bileyg.
Alright, same to you. And don't be a stranger, alright? Next time you're in town, don't let me catch you right on the way out.
Wouldn't dream of it. Alright. And with that, I assume you head off to work?
I head off to work.
Fantastic. Then let's see who we're meeting next.
I gotta come up with more names of family
Wally.
members.
Just an endless list of like
Chuck,
Finbar's exes,
Fred,
but there's just
yeah.
more.
I just pull up fantasy name generator.
One character per campaign must come with endless list of relatives and or exes.
Oh, you know it.
Fantastic. Speaking of Wally, I would love for you to introduce your character, where they are, and what they're doing at this most early hour.
Where would this little rabbit be? I would say he is finishing up a rather uneventful night. So he's somewhere in the market ward, trying to reconnect with past contacts. So I assume that went relatively uneventful for the night, and with the sun coming up, or I guess regular people hours coming about, he is sort of dusting himself off and getting ready to head to work. So I'd say, yeah, he's meandering around in the market ward. What we see, though, is we see a relatively short Harangon, dark gray fur, very neatly dressed, deep purple eyes, a sense of tiredness about him. And his most distinguishing feature is in his fur, there's the imprint of white laurels around his forehead. And yes, this is Evrard, also known as Lapin to his associates.
Fantastic. So, you have been out all night. Are you planning to stop by your apartment, or are you going to head right back to... Or do you even have an apartment? Or are you going to head right into work?
I don't think he has an apartment. He
just
does
doesn't
not
live
have
anywhere?
much going on right now.
Fair enough. So, the market ward is always alive. But most people are awake during the day, so that's when most of the business happens. And indeed, this is the most... what's the word I'm looking for? Money flows through here, this ward.
Oh, the financial
most.
district.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of small businesses here, so a lot of them are getting started early, especially places that are making food for the day, things like that, right? So you walk by, you see that there's lots of crisscrossing walkways here, so there's like different levels to the city, and you begin making your way kind of down, zigzagging through so that you can get down to street level and start making your way out of the market ward. You've got a lot of city to cross before you get to work. Mm-hmm. You walk past and you see bakeries opening up, people are setting up stalls, there's people carrying crates from of delivers that just got off Spelljammers through the city right now. You walk past the Bank of Abathor, which is this huge, stone column building with this, big, steeple almost thing. It's up high because it's got deep vaults below it, and the trade of gold, the transition of different currencies never stops. So there's dwarves, there's a red dragon coming out. You make your way down through, and as you are getting close to the bottom and about to head out of the market ward, head off into the ladies ward, I believe it is. You walk past an alley and you hear psst.
Everard's ear sort of twitches in the direction. He says, oui, bon matin, monsieur. How can I help you?
You see, leaning out from this door kind of opens a little bit in the alley, and leaning out you see a dwarf, this red hair, beard that's very neatly, tightly braided, wearing these big glasses. This is Copernicus, aka Copper.
Ah, mon ami, Copper. Good to see you.
Lapin, get in here. Come on.
Okay. And he sort of shuffles into the alley.
He motions you into this little door. He doesn't close it all the way, just a little bit, so that anyone who's walking by wouldn't be able to peer in. You walk into just kind of this empty hallway that leads into more of this building here. It's clearly the back of some business or something. Maybe there's apartments or something upstairs, but he just keeps you right in the doorway. And you guys are, he's a dwarf, you're a Harangon, so you're pretty rough height. And he looks at you, kind of looks nervously out the door, and starts kind of rubbing his hand. He says, I hear you've been looking around, asking for some old contacts. You trying to get back into the game?
To be honest, my friend, yes and no. It's good to be back in the city. I just trying to get my bearing again, so... it is great to see you. Unless he checks his wallet, a bit of coin might help. So, what do you have for me?
Well, to be honest, I don't have anything specifically lined up at this moment, but I was just happy to hear that you were back looking around. It's, first off, we get good work done. Last time notwithstanding, but more importantly, as just making sure that to keep an eye on yourself. If you are getting back to the game, that's awesome, that's excellent. But a couple of the other Burks walking around, they're nervous you disappearing and not really given any reason. They're nervous you starting up this other side gig. Not to find a point on it, but folk who are breaking the law get nervous when one of theirs starts to go straight. They start to worry what it might mean for them and what they know. So, really, I was just checking in on that, and, well, I guess not to worry if you're looking to be playing both sides of the law, so to speak.
Mon ami, lots of things happen in the city. There's nothing to be worried about, unless someone is coming for my cute little throat. I don't think we have anything to worry about. We act like business is the same, you know. We break a lock, you know, steal some coin, and everything's gonna be all right. Huh? Ça va?
Yeah, as you say. You have a lot more confidence about it than I do. You say not to worry unless someone's coming for your neck. That's what I'm saying may be happening. If you're gonna keep playing it real mysterious and aloof. What I'm saying is if you're back in the game, make sure they know you're back in the game, both feet. And if you're not, then I suggest you don't go looking for old contacts. You know what I mean?
You owe too much, my friend. It's a new day. Nothing has physically come at my throat. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yes?
A man of the moment. All right, fair enough. All right, so if there's something comes up, I can rely on you. Be another hand on the job.
Oui. Bien sûr.
Good to hear. You're always the best to give the wall a laugh. All right, let's get out of here before whoever lives here comes back and finds us standing in their hallway. All right?
Oui. And dips out.
Yeah, he waits like 15 seconds for you to leave, then he comes out and relocks the door. He's a lockpick, so he just broke into this place to catch you, but he relocks the door and goes on his way. Fantastic. You make your way fully out of the market ward and head off to work. Next, Sophia.
Yee.
I would love for you to describe your character and tell us where at this early hour we might find her and what she is doing.
Yeah, you would see sitting outside a charming little cafe that, of course, you don't get to know the name of because, you know, she doesn't want to get too touristy, is a tall, slender, elegant elder elf, so pale and dressed so monotone as to appear to be in a black and white movie no matter where she's standing. She's got a very relaxed stance as she leans back, drinking her morning coffee. Elves, as we all know, don't sleep but simply meditate, so she's been up for quite a while and enjoying the calm of the morning. Or, you know when you've lived in New York long enough that it seems like it's calm in the morning, even though it's the city that never sleeps? It's that sort of vibe. I imagine she might be in the market ward or something. But she's having her tea and reading a legally distinct Agatha Christie novel and just watching.
You can't say legally distinct and then say the person's name, I don't think. That's not how that
Agatha
works,
Christie.
right?
She's from
There
the
you
swamp.
go.
Yes.
She writes mystery novels. And sometimes she makes evil bargains.
I think we might have already peaked with our best joke so far. Agatha Christie lives in a swamp.
Agatha Christie.
But yeah,
That's it, folks. Pack it in.
All right, great. Tune in for Campaign 3.
All right, sorry, Sophia. Continue. Tell us about
this is Ingrid Starling, darling of Sigel's finest stages, and currently she is reading and people watching and just sort of enjoying the morning. Soon to pack it up and gracefully continue on to the office that she is oh so fond of.
Fantastic. There's a lot of, if I may, there's a lot of hustle and bustle around the market ward this time of day, but the clerk's ward, which is very close to your place of business, is also very fancy, but a lot quieter this early in the morning. None of those law or business people are waking up at the crack of dawn to get things working. They're not putting in a hard day's work. So, overlooking this very beautiful, this very what's the word I'm looking for? It's very business-like. It's very bureaucratic. It's a very bureaucratic part of the city. You finish up whatever you may be dining on, get ready to pay, and you hear a muffled, muffled hum, which you know is the sound of a sending stone a split second before a voice comes through it. You hear from a sending stone in your bag the muffled, "Ingrid, I know you're there. Answer. I got a ride all lined up for you. You done with this daft detective ruse yet? I'm waiting.
Ingrid will let the stone continue to talk loudly in her pocket and, like, take a sip of coffee as she pulls it out. Hello, Laurie. I thought I told you that I was retired.
I thought I told you that there was no such thing.
I think we have very different ideas of what is and is not retired, but needless to say, I have sunsetted my career on stage and am fully focusing on the detective pursuits, as you put it. So, no, whatever you've got lined up, give it to someone else. I'm sure your very capable hands can find a new client to represent. Bye-bye, dear. And I'll shove the stone back in my pocket.
No! And with that, you hang up on your, depending on who you ask, current or previous agent. Is there anything else you'd like to do before heading into work?
I like to think that Ingrid is, like, constantly trying to kind of case whatever joint she's in just to keep the mind sharp. So could I do, like, a perception check or something just to see if there's anything not necessarily illegal, but, like, juicy happening in this cafe?
There's dice roll of the new campaign.
Please, I invite you to.
All right, let me get the dice that a listener sent to our P.O. box. So this is on you guys.
This is on you guys is such a threatening way to start a campaign.
It didn't roll too bad. It's a 13
You
plus
did this to me.
2, so it's a 15 total.
Okay. You look out. You can see from this vantage point, which is kind of like a little balcony area. A lot of the city is kind of tiered and terraced in weird ways. There's a lot of up and down if you don't know where you're going. Like the fastest route is not always the straight route because there might be a bunch of stairs in your way, things like that. From this kind of terraced area where you're looking out, you can see the Civic Fest Hall, which is it used to be. You would remember this because you're an elf who's lived here for a very long time. It's been years now since they were disbanded, but the Society of Sensation used to have their headquarters here before the faction war, and they were disbanded into many different guilds and sects. But this is still a place where great art is. Where great art is showcased, where great art is performed. There's beautiful gardens here. There's a very famous amphitheater here. Art is put on, dance, things like that. It's still a place where the creative can come to show off, basically. And as you look out, you see two people who are like coming out of the place and then like inconspicuously leaving in opposite directions, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's two artists having a tryst, like leaving in the early morning hours. Just something about the body language tells you that there's a lot more going on there than any normal passerby might have noticed.
All the world's a stage, as they say.
For them, it was true. Fantastic. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
No, I think Ingrid very, like, completely unbothered. Like, this is a normal morning for her. Finishes her coffee or her tea, gracefully packs all her things up, puts a bookmark in the chapter of Legally Distinct Agatha Christie, and heads off to the office, the detective agency.
All right. Fantastic. And with that, there's only one more character to meet, so we won't bother rolling. Noir, would you please describe your character, where we might find them, and what they're up to at this early hour?
What was the place that you just described? The Civic Hall?
The Civic Fest Hall is, a
Civic
place
Fest.
of art and performance.
I think if Ingrid were to be a little bit more perceptive, she might see on a corner not too far from the Civic Fest Hall, more or less busking out on the street, for lack of a better word, a blob of this iridescent substance, vaguely in the form of a humanoid, but with enough appendages to be playing this very ornate and fancy lute. You can see that they have just sort of like a napkin out in front, just accepting coin. But I suppose I don't know exactly how good of a night Oobtaglor has had.
Well, why don't you go ahead and roll me a performance check and we can find out.
Yay.
Ooh.
That's right, folks. 2 bards for the price of 1.
Performance? 21.
21. It's been pretty, it's been It's been pretty good, honestly. There was a late night performance last night, so a lot of people were heading out of the Civic Fest Hall at an early hour or a late hour, depending on who you are, that they might not otherwise have been. So there was a decent crowd, all things considered. A lot of them have been drinking, and you put on a pretty good show. What kind of show are you putting on? Is this is musical?
Yeah, musical variety hour, basically. Just taking if there are any requests from the audience, or if anyone like donates a coin or something and says, "Hey, can you play X songstress?" They're happy to oblige.
Fantastic. Go ahead and add 5 gold pieces.
Oh, nice.
Well, if this detective thing don't pan out.
I've got an agent you should talk to.
But I think as the day is sort of coming into proper, Oobtaglor will start to pack up their stuff and start to head into work.
Gotcha. Does Oobtaglor have any permanent residence, do you think?
I think so. Probably also in the lower ward. Probably
That makes
like
sense.
maybe just like somewhere in the central district, not too fancy, not too shabby. But I don't know if they'll like stop by their place. Everything that they need for adventuring is, I think, on their person. So I think they might just go straight into work.
All right. I mean, you are an ooze. It's not like you need to shower or anything.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Very
To
well.
be an ooze. Any dirt that goes in there just melts or something, probably.
With that, all of our heroes converge upon one of the last districts we have yet to mention. Here, in the lower ward, the hardworking folk of Sigil grind away in forges and in warehouses alike, where the unwanted stuff of the planescape gets made into something worth noticing. Lots of folks here hope the same will happen to them someday. And here, under the smog, among the din, is a little street called the Alley of Dangerous Angles.
Hell
On a good day, the stench from the ditch doesn't permeate too strongly here. It's not a good day. And, tucked between an old pub and a warehouse that's never quite full or quite empty, is a small business. The front window reads, "Open and Shut Cases," and then underneath it, "City of Doors Detectives," with the S recently added, and under that, the other recent addition, "Heroes for Hire." As each of you make your way into the office, let's see, I believe that Ingrid would be the first to arrive, followed by Bileyg, Oobtaglor, and finally, Lapin.
Good morning, darlings.
Oh, I hope everyone had a nice night of sleep. Or, so, what's the opposite of peak again? Remind me. Dark
Oh,
hours?
there's Anti-Peak.
Anti-peak. I had a nice
Yeah.
anti-peak.
A nice anti-peak, but perhaps not of sleep. But good day to you as well.
What does, let me ask the person who technically owns the office, what does the inside of this business look like, Sophia?
Yeah, I mean, think like dark wood panels. There's, I imagine, like a bay window behind a big, thick wooden desk. It's very like masculine decorated. If you've seen an old noir movie where someone walks into a detective's office, it looks ripped straight off of the screen. But there's a bit of touches here and there where you can tell that maybe it's not being run by whoever initially decorated this place. There's an unusually large, comfy armchair it's got a bit more of a feminine touch to it. There's piles of papers and scripts in a corner here and there. I imagine there's touches of the other rest of the cast as well. Pictured throughout, and of course the obligatory blinds that create that very specific shadow effect no matter where you're sitting in the room. And a big bell by the door, that's the doorbell, but it properly rings, you know? You can really jingling-a-ling-a-ling, you know?
What does a bell sound like?
Jingling-a-ling-a-ling.
Jingling-a-ling, yeah.
Just like that.
Fantastic.
And if no one else does anything, Ingrid will, as always, be taking the seat at the desk, unless someone tries to muscle their way.
Right, there's just the one desk, right?
Yes.
Yep, yeah.
Yeah. There's other seats, but there is only one desk.
It does belong to you. Does anyone ever try to get to it before Ingrid, or is everyone kind of respectful of Ingrid's pseudo
I think
leadership
maybe
here?
like
Yeah.
the
Big for
first 5 times, since Oobtaglor joined the detective agency, they maybe try and go
so
for
many
it.
times.
Yeah.
It's not until turn 6 that they get the hint, and now they go to
Yeah.
the corner that they've claimed.
Fantastic.
Lapin has kind of moved in to the pile of newspapers. You guys notice it's this dry bed of dirt and flowers sort of tucked in that corner on top of old newspapers, chewed up carrots as well. And he walks into the room silently, takes a seat, and sort of slumps down and relaxes into that corner.
That's good thinking. Very efficient. It's hard to have a garden in this place.
Don't check any
Fantastic.
dirt on the carpet. It's very expensive to clean.
Oh, I don't think the carpet's gonna notice.
It's got like a layer of like cigarettes ash burned into it already.
Oh, I mean, the outside, this is, there's a permanent layer of smog in this area of the city. So, like, just walking through here, you can feel like you need a shower sometimes, and your boots definitely show that. So, yeah, it's expensive to clean because as soon as you put a fantasy vacuum on it, it's like sound.
I have to take it to a whole nother district. It's exhausting. If you carried a rolled up carpet to the market ward, it takes forever. It's not magic. It doesn't fly.
And some of the like dirt and grime here is magical. It's like magical byproduct and runoff, so it doesn't get out by mundane means. You need to use it's immune to being destroyed by mundane means. You need magic to fix it.
It's got legendary resistances, so
It's got
cleaning it's a
legendary
real
resistance.
ordeal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get magic
Maybe
soap.
it's a little magical.
Yeah, 3 times a day. If it fails a check against getting cleaned, it can choose to succeed instead.
Speaking of the bell, you hear that
Ling-a-ling-a-ling.
distinct. That's the sound. As the door opens, it's now like 3 before peak, which is like 9 in the morning, basically. So the day has, started at this point. Although it's not most days that you get a client or customer. So to not only have one, but to have one this first thing in the morning is kind of like a strange, surprising little event. And so you all take notice as the door opens and in steps a Kenku. If you don't know, a raven person, kind of diminutive in size, about the height of a dwarf. Glossy black feathers. This one is dressed what to you would seem academic, which is a wizard's outfit. Basically, they've got a nice little red robe on. They've got a side satchel that holds a bunch of books, so you can see 3 or 4 books kind of buckled in with this loop over here. And as they walk in, you see them kind of appraise the room, and this individual who Oobtaglor to be Glossary says, "Is this the place where the slime works?"
Ah, Glossary! Nice of you to make a visit.
Love that.
Welcome to our humble place of work.
Love them so much.
I'll
Yes,
put the
this
coffee
is
on
where
for
the
you and your
slime
friend.
is.
Bienvenue.
Damn, I was right. Okay. These are all your, bosses?
Protégés, yes.
Co-workers, if you're being especially generous. Welcome to Open and Shut Cases. Single detectives, heroes, hands for hire, heroes for hire, whichever you like. How can we help you?
The name is Glossary. Extends a feathery hand. It just walks right past Oobtaglor to Ingrid, who seems professional and to know what she's doing. And
She's got the desk.
Enchanté.
Oobtaglor gets a hand up and then just kind of tries to play it off when.
no, it's big
I am the
being
one
shunned.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, but
she
Oobtaglor
wa-
tries to play it off and it's nothing. It's nothing.
Walks. They walk right past, right to Ingrid, and they say, "I've been sent because we have a case that's a problem that needs solving. There's been a theft, and my professor, my boss, would like to find out who did it and have everything recovered. That's the sort of thing that you do, right?
It very much is. We specialize in helping solve all sorts of problems, but theft is pretty frequently one of them. Can you tell us a little bit more about what happened?
And how do you take your coffee? We got a bunch of kinds. Some powders, I don't know what they do.
Tea, if you
Kinds of
prefer.
weird colors, though.
Oh, I wouldn't put
also
those
tea.
in the. I wouldn't put those in the coffee. Anyway,
Coffee, good. You see they rub the bat, like, it's kind of hard to notice with the bird, but they do have bags under their eyes. And they're a student, so this is like a pretty tired, like, kind of grad student situation.
We've all been there.
And they say, kind of like consider for a moment, like, is this kind of a waste of time? And then they say, all right, they hop into the chair, and for lack of, like, anyone else stepping in, just will address Ingrid directly. So, I'm doing some graduate-level study under Professor Araminta at the Institute of Intellectual Excellence, and there was a break-in into her study yesterday. Last night, I suppose, when we left, everything was fine, but this morning we got in, the place had been ransacked. It looked like it's a big mess in there, but Araminta is studying, it's a study of magical items of diminishing potency and use, and testing the ability to get more use out of them, so to speak. So, to see if there's more longevity that can be wrung from different magical items. In any case, there's a lot of things in there that we've been looking at, and whatever was stolen, which at this point we're not even sure the way everything has been handled, we are anxious to get it back. And as you see, they throw a glance at Oobtaglor, and then they look back at you, Ingrid, as the professor said, and then their eyes kind of dilate a little bit as they do a perfect mimicry. Their voice completely changes to the sound of an older woman. You hear, literally anyone will do. And then goes back to glossary saying, when I suggested that I might know someone who knows people who can solve cases. Gives another pointed look over at Oobtaglor.
You've certainly come to the correct place, then.
Fantastic. You're all experienced, all of you.
yes, we're
all
very
of you.
professional.
Okay, well, what's next then? Should I take you to the scene of the crime? We've tried to leave it untouched. We talked to the security at the Institute, but this is not their wheelhouse, so...
No, yeah, we should definitely go look at the scene of the crime as soon as possible before it inevitably gets messed up, as some of those magic doohickeys cause problems. You never know with those things.
Yes, very volatile. I suppose we should make our way over there post-haste then, and perhaps on the way over we can learn a bit more about your field of study and what exactly is going on in this, study of your professors. Background info, you know.
Okay. Follow me then. And they head back out into the lower ward. So it takes a long time to get where you're going. I will info dump a little bit about what Glossary will offer up, and if you have any follow-up questions, you can ask them, or you can wait to speak to the professor. But basically, Glossary is a the equivalent of a grad student. They wouldn't use like graduate student language, but the equivalent of a grad student has completed a lot of work at the Institute, but is going on instead of leaving and going off into pursuit of something else, is continuing on in a professional environment in the Institute. Their area of expertise is actually basically magical monsters. They're an arcanobiologist, but they do lots of different work, and part of that has led them to being involved with the study of this professor, who is looking at basically multi-use magic, or like limited-use magic items, so things that have charges, and the notion of like, can we like increase the potency? Can we like recover charges of a thing without having to go back to square one and recreate the magic item. So that is the study that is being done in the lab, for lack of a better word. Does anyone else have any other questions for Glossary?
Is there anyone who they might think could have stolen it? A rival at the Institute, or just someone who got on their bad side, or vice versa, or something like that? Anyone that might have a motive.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everyone's got competitors at the Institute. It's its own little blood war going on there. That being said, I mean, if there was someone you could get along with, it's Professor Araminta. She's pretty easygoing, and most of her work is broadly applicable, interesting to people in some respect. She's not upsetting anyone with deep philosophy about the spinning of the planescape and what might be the center, you know? As to anyone who might want to steal it, I mean, magic items are worth any amount to any number of people. So,
Sorry, I might have missed it. Do we know exactly what got stolen? We're saying it.
You don't.
Specifics. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Basically, it was broken into, it's been trashed, and they were like, don't touch anything. Like...
Right.
They've still yet to take inventory.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
Up until this point, Lapin has been very quiet, just listening and observing and following the crowd, and he's going to speak up. He says, "Now this mess that they seem to be have left, clearly amateurs in the work that they do. Do you think something was actually stolen? And if not, did they leave something? Some sort of..." He pulls out a flower and sniffs it. Cause sign of sorts.
Love the dramatics.
He puts it right back into his breast pocket.
Well, I suppose that's for you to figure out.
I guess one last question. Do you have any idea how they got away? Out through the window, door, teleport?
Window faces a courtyard on the interior, but that doesn't mean anything necessarily. I mean, for all I know, they walked through the wall.
Yeah, wizards. Alright, well, guess we'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
You guys...
I was just going to say, with no more questions, I think Oobtaglor is just going to strike up a conversation with Glossary. They do not clock at all that Glossary dislikes Oobtaglor. Because why? Who would dislike Oobtaglor?
Who would?
And so they're just trying to strike up conversation.
Go ahead and make me just a raw charisma check. Everyone else can make an insight check.
I would love to make an insight check.
Goody. My first roll of a new campaign, and it's an insight check. You shouldn't have.
For me.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Glossary
Nice.
kind of begrudges, if nothing else, then out of, it's not a total dick, out of, a sense of like, this person is helping me out. I should, be somewhat professional about this. It's not super warm or even necessarily very willing, but it is definitely conversation. Polite conversation. Red is smiling to herself.
I got a 14. It wasn't too crazy.
14.
I only have a +3 on this character.
Sophia?
I got a 21. I rolled a 19 plus 2.
21. And Wally, did you roll?
I rolled a 19 total.
Oh.
19 total. So, Bileyg, this is... You can sense that there's some tension here, but the other two, yeah, there's definitely a sense of... Glossary is really put off by the strong personality, to be diplomatic, of Oobtaglor. Glossary finds them to be really conceited and annoying, and you can see that just in the way they react when inevitably the successes or triumphs of Oobtaglor are brought up into conversation. When any opportunity to brag is taken, they are really put off by this behavior and frustrated, but also there is a sense of like, this is a good plan. They still feel like they're doing the right thing, even if they have to kind of there's a bit of medicine to take here, you know.
Ingrid just sort of like chuckles
All
to
right.
herself, like, oh god, not again. But will not intervene.
Yeah, this might be a regular occurrence to all of you, honestly.
I've never wanted to yuck
you-
anyone's yum. If this is how Oopsie wants to be.
Oobtaglor's got so many best friends, and I don't know if we get along with absolutely any of them.
You guys make it back. It's actually in the Market Ward, and you arrive, I believe anyway. I don't remember everything off the top of my head. You arrive at what is it's a very impressive structure. There are, a lot of Sigil is cramped. A lot of Sigil has these, you know, houses that lean over the walkways. It's different catwalks and alleyways that crisscross and intersect. And, but punctuated throughout the city, there are these large buildings. The place you were at before, the Society of Sensation place, the performance hall is definitely one of these, and the Institute is also definitely one of these. It almost looks like a candelabra with like a lot of like arms coming off of it. Like it's kind of like a central building hub with all these arms that come off of it, with platforms that have not just buildings but like whole little quads on them. And so it's basically like you have to be able to fly to commute through this campus. And indeed, as you arrive, you see that there are like magic carpets that take people around from level to level. Some people do just fly. You see like Arachnophobia students go by, a wizard casts flying themselves, takes off. But the most people are just getting on and off these carpets. And after a short wait, Glossary walks up and flashes does a little prestidigitation. Yeah, a little minor illusion, like arcane sign that's basically like a
Student ID.
like bus pass, yeah, like student ID bus pass kind of thing, to get all of you onto a carpet. You guys are lifted up, brought to a beautiful quad, lovely green grass with sidewalks crisscrossing it. This is definitely one of the nicer places, maybe not top 10, but, top 10% nice places in all of Sigil. It's very well kept, it's very prestigious, and usually you have to pay money just to even come up here unless you're actually a member of the students or faculty. You are led through the quad, the green, brought upstairs into this building, and after a couple hallways you come to a door that is ajar, and outside you see an older woman, probably in like she's just human, probably in like her late 60s. She's similarly wearing like a jewel-toned robe. Her hair's pulled back, she's got glasses on, and she's rubbing her graying temples when she sees Glossary approaching. She straightens up, and in the voice that you heard come out of Glossary before, perfect mimic, you hear, "Oh, thank goodness, it's been some time. I was beginning to get worried. Glossary, these must be the hands that you spoke of before? The, forgive me if I'm being pejorative, detectives?"
Yes, Ingrid Starling, and I'll extend a hand and start vigorously shaking hers. Open and shut cases, single detectives, heroes for hire. We understand that you've had a break-in.
Professor Araminta, and that is what I believe. Please bring your, associates this way. She opens the door, and you see, it's basically like a large office space. It's basically a wizard study, right? There's tables all over, and bookshelves. There are things on the shelves, but even more so, there are things on the floor. And there's just kind of like this huge mess. Tables are overturned, and there's just this sense of chaos about that you assume is the work of whoever did this, whoever might have stolen something from this room. She says, "I've left everything as it was, difficult as it was to be patient. I did not want to interfere at all, but I was hoping that you could get to the bottom of this. Whoever stole it, whatever it is, I assume that's the reason for going through all of this trouble, that they were looking for something. I'll confess I have nothing to hide, though there are certainly things of value, even great value perhaps to the right person, contained within here. So, however you would like to get started, I'll be whatever help I can."
thank you very much, ma'am.
Well,
All right.
Obviously this is your study, so initial question, is there anything that you can detect to be missing? Any particular areas of note or objects that we should make sure to inventory?
I'll get you. She kind of snaps a glossary and points. She says, I'll get you a list of all the things we were working on. The notes might be a little dense or perhaps even arcane, but hopefully you can make heads or tails of them. No, I have no idea at the moment what was stolen. I can see dozens of things that weren't that I can't find, that I can't spot. I assume all of them were stolen, but perhaps things are hidden. It's unclear to me.
I guess. Do you know when this happened? Is there any time of day where this place is deserted enough to be robbed like this? It really feels like the place is bustling most times.
Deserted? Never, but it's quiet in the late hours. There are students, but there's no library located within this building, so there's typically not a late night contingent of people, like a large group of people studying. That being said, there are guards, there are dabus who even come about, there are other students doing other work within other rooms, so...
You'll have to forgive my ignorance on this one. Do you have any sort of magical wards around this place so that people can't just walk straight through the walls? Looks at glossary to see if I'm doing a good job. Okay.
The doors are arcane locked. As for enchantments to prevent more powerful spells, not on this building in this room. There are rooms within the campus that have that sort of security, but no, not a normal room like this one.
Could I make an investigation check looking around the room with just to kind of get a sense of the mess and if there's anything that stands out, but particularly because Lapin put this idea into Ingrid's head, like looking to see if it looks purposefully staged to somehow like cover something else that had happened or like, misdirect us with the idea of this theft.
All right, yeah, go ahead and roll an investigation check. So, this is going to be our first scene, our first investigation scene. And if you listen to our episode 0, if you're one of our lovely patrons, you know that we're breaking the episodes up into these scenes, which progresses the story clock. Stealing a little something from Blades in the Dark, a heist game. If you watched the session, Jill, you know that we did have people declare approaches, which was basically the one thing they're going to do during this investigation. We've since done away with those. We're not using the approaches anymore. The characters are free to make whatever checks they would like, but they are committing to this investigation crime scene. And if they want to move on to another one, then that will progress the story clock further. So,
very cool.
Sophia, have Ingrid go ahead and make her investigation check.
Oh, she did. And I have a +8 to this, but I rolled my first natty 20 of the campaign.
You rolled a natural 20 with a +8 for a total of 28.
I put
so we just immediately
all
find the
of
guy,
my
right?
stats into
He's
intelligence.
underneath the mess.
Yeah.
Just right there.
Anticipating.
He's
Just napping under the carpet.
He never left. It's just a big rat.
I thought it might be prudent to expertise in investigation for this particular campaign.
Just like a bird
You
flew in through the
were-
window and got stuck and panicked. Mystery
Exactly
solved.
right. Ingrid, with your nimble elf dexterity, you begin to pick your way through this mess, taking care not to step on anything, taking care not to shuffle any papers, to break anything,
Oh God,
or
they
to
really
disrupt
should dust.
the scene. And as you walk through, almost beautiful mind style, a sense of order starts to arrive to the chaos. You start to see where certain things should belong and where they are placed, and the way that they've gotten there. And a lot of it does not line up with a random ransack. You've seen plenty of random ransacks. Things get broken. Things are kind of flung. There is an element of that here, but as you begin to go through, things are placed just too unnaturally to have been randomly thrown. There is specifically that this place was tossed, and it was tossed by an expert. So, in other words, not just someone who could get in, but someone who knew how to steal stuff and make it hard to figure out what was being stolen, sacked this place, and they made it look like a big mess, either to put off being known that they were an expert at it, to seem like an amateur, or to obscure what was taken, or a combination of both, or even some other third thing. Whatever the reasons may be, this is an expert job staged to look amateur. And I would say it's going to take you a couple minutes, so we'll let other people do some checks in the meantime, but you're going to pretty easily be able to start putting things back where they go and start to narrow down what was taken easily, even if it's going to take you a little bit of time.
Yeah, I would like to kind of sidle up to Lapin and just sort of like whisper to him, I believe that this may fall under your particular expertise, so if you could keep a professional eye out on the scene, it would be appreciated.
Bien sûr, madame. You can pass through the mess. I will see what I can do. I would like to roll a perception check, and I want to. I want to know if anything has been added or placed in the scene. Like we know the mess that's been created, and we know some things might be missing. But I'm looking for any clues or details that have been added, either purposefully or unpurposefully. So if they left like any tracks, if they left call sign,
all right.
Fingerprints, well, maybe not fingerprints, but
A single perfect flower.
Anything that was accidentally or purposely left behind. Understood. So Ingrid is going about placing together what should be there. You're worried about what should not be there. So yeah, perception or investigation will do.
Okay, here we go. Not great, but I have a decent bonus to this. So 17.
Woohoo!
17 is very good. Keep in mind, for those who don't know, we're 3rd level.
We're so squishy.
Yeah.
So 17 beats a medium challenge and almost cracks a hard challenge. You know, that's very good. Pardon me as I take an ill-timed drink. Spill water all over my notes.
We'll edit it out in post.
So you begin. Everything's going wrong. You begin searching about the room, and Ingrid is starting to put things back at this point. You guys are all kind of fanned out, doing your own things, and your keen eyes, you've got a bit of the tracker in you. And with a 17, you notice a discrepancy here. There are fingerprints like on glass and stuff like that. That's not necessarily very helpful to you. You start looking for footprints, but that's difficult because this is just hardwood floor. There's no there's nothing to leave an impression in, and there's nothing to leave an impression in, and there's no like clumps of mud, like a big ink footprint or something on the floor. But you do notice something. As you were going through, you notice that on the outside, it's very well kept. You walked past some other classrooms, some other offices and studies, and you noticed that things were very clean. As you're walking through here, there is a mess, true, but there's also dirt. Not a lot. Not like we're talking like a dust method ransacks the place and is left behind like piles of dirt. But you start to notice in the corners a little bit of dirt here, a crumpled up piece of paper that was just like left on the floor or something. You notice one of Glossary's feathers just kind of like sitting on the ground, kind of like underneath a bunch of stuff, so that must have already been there. This room hasn't been cleaned. Like, it's got dirt where all the other rooms don't.
He'd like to talk to the professor real quick. After noticing through all this, he says,
yeah, go for it.
Madame Professor, it seems this is a very nice, very clean building that you keep here. May I ask, who goes about making sure it stays this way?
We have custodial staff for that.
And how often do they clean?
Most days. I think it kind of depends on if there's events or things like that. They're busy. It's a large campus. But most days I would say. They tend to come in between classes, so I don't see them very often.
And as for security, do you have of course you have the magic to keep things easier to protect, but do you have security?
Yeah, there is security.
Okay.
We already spoke. That was the first thing that we spoke to them. We thought perhaps that they had noticed something, might be looking into it, but they hadn't. They know nothing more than us, which is why we've come to you, find people.
Oui.
I'd like to ask the same question I asked to Glossary to Professor Araminta, namely, I know that magical instruments have their own inherent value, but is there anyone you might have been sharing your information and your studies and your research with who might have something to gain by taking something from it, or perhaps even by discrediting you in you having lost said tools for research?
Oh, I hope not. It can be competitive, but in my experience, most people at the Institute are on the same team, for lack of a better word. I mean, there's conflict. No one gets along with everyone, but I have not found it to be the case that I have any enemies here. I think that's mostly a problem for wizards and other academics out in the field, if you take my meaning. Most people who continue their work here are doing it because they're averse to conflict.
All right, I don't want to be that guy, but I do want to insight check her.
Yeah, go ahead, roll an insight check. This is what those... Feel free to roll insight checks. I'm afraid you guys might feel like you're rolling too many this campaign, but you are investigating mysteries.
In
so
this
feel
campaign,
free to determine if
we
people
are
are
all
lying.
red. We are all...
Oh, what have I done?
Not great. 12.
12? You sense no lying or anything.
Okay.
All right. Continuing on, I want to give priority to Red if you have anything, if Bileyg has anything that he wants to do. Otherwise, anyone else has any interests, let me know.
Ingrid looks like she's got the putting the things back to narrow down what was actually stolen pretty much handled, and I don't think Bileyg wants to get in the way of that, but he is going to go and check out the window and see if there's anything specifically going on over there. Has it been opened recently? Is there dirt on it? I don't know.
Fantastic. Yeah, go ahead and roll an investigation check, I think.
Oh,
sounds
goody.
most appropriate.
I have no proficiency in this, and my int is
is there another
+0.
kind of check you would like to roll?
Not really.
Okay.
All my stats are dumb stats except for charisma, and I can't riz up the window, so...
Not with that attitude.
But I did just roll a flat 17, so...
Oh.
Okay, 17 is excellent. Looking at the window, it does overlook an interior courtyard area. You take a look. There doesn't seem to be any sign of forced entry. You don't see any footprints on the windowsill. It seems to be locked okay, and looking out, there's no obvious holes from pythons. Is it pythons or pitons?
That's a good question.
Pythons,
I think it's pipe
good.
ones.
None of us know.
Pretty sure it's
there are no
pythons.
obvious
I'm gonna say
holes from
pitons.
climbing
I'm team
equipment
pitons.
Right.
here, so there's no one has left any evidence of having entered through the window.
Okay, so they either came and went through the door, which was arcane locked, or through the wall. Interesting. All right. Yeah, I don't really have much else. I guess I might, if Ingrid can point me in a direction, I can help with the tidying up.
Yes, I mean, I wouldn't put this on that shelf, but it does seem like that's where it came from.
It's so condescending. Make a stealth check on that. Make a sleight of hand check on that one.
Ooh.
Wait, which one of us is making a sleight of hand?
Sleight of hand check on you, whispering about condescending to how Araminta sets up her study.
Yeah.
16.
16? Alright, yeah. You keep
Fantastic.
little side of your mouth.
It's a stage whisper. I'm very good at them.
It's perfectly directed only at me.
Yeah.
You're not bouncing this one off the opposite wall.
Yeah, as I'm putting stuff back, is there any sort of like pattern in what's missing, or like anything that's sort of revealing itself as we're able to put things together?
Yep, so as you finish with this, with a natural 20, I will just go ahead and let you know, you don't need to consult the note. Like, on a lesser check, you might need to consult the notes and also make a check against understanding them to get the full list of
like
what should
reading
be
a
here.
doctor's
But you've done... Yeah, exactly. But that would be because you didn't have everything quite back in the right place. With how definitive and excellent you've been putting everything back, it becomes very clear to you, even with the somewhat arcane notes, there are 2 items missing from the workshop here. One of them is a magic item called the Chime of Opening, and the other is a magic item called the Dust of Disappearance. Both are, as you would guess, limited use magic items that have charges that diminish, and so that would be being studied by this place.
Can I mean, Sophia, who has played Dungeons and Dragons many times, know what both of those items are, but can I make a check to see if Ingrid knows what those items do?
I would just allow you to know, because they are in the notes with your natural 20 investigation. I'll say probably this is about where that nat 20 is going to end you, but yeah. I will go ahead and read the descriptions, which if I was a wise man, I would have had up
the chime
in front
of
of me,
opening
but you can never plan
things,
for a nat 20.
Locked or otherwise. That one I know. And Dust of Disappearance is sort of like invisibility dust, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yeah.
So Chime of Opening is a hollow metal tube about 1 foot long. You can strike it as an action, pointing at an object within 120 feet that can be opened. The chime issues a clear tone, and 1 lock or latch opens unless the sound can't reach the object.
And does that work on
it can
magical...
be used 10 times. After the 10th time, it becomes useless. Sorry, what's that?
Does that work on magically locked doors and things?
It can, yes.
Good to know.
And the Dust of Disappearance?
This powder resembles very fine sand. When you use an action to throw the dust into the air, you and each creature and object within 10 feet of you become invisible for 2d4 minutes. The duration is the same for all subjects, and it's consumed when you use the effect. If you attack or cast a spell, then the invisibility goes away, just like the spell invisibility.
Yeah.
But not if you use a magic item like the Chime of Opening.
Correct, because that's not casting a spell or attacking.
Alright, well,
Does
it
that
sounds
match?
like our mystery thief has outfitted himself for some extremely impressive thievery in the near future.
Ironic, considering he'd already done rather impressive thievery.
Does the dirt that Lapand found match the description of the Dust of Disappearance? Like, did they
no,
use
it is
already?
non-magical dirt. It's like kind of just like mundane, like picked up in the classroom.
It's dirt.
Ingrid, when you so whoever it was just said this thief has impressive. This thief has already done some thievery. It was Ingrid. Lapand, go ahead and make an insight check on that.
Yes. Okay. 14, and what's my insight? Plus 6. Dirty 20.
Ooh.
Dirty 20. Ingrid is absolutely right. Someone already got in. This was a pro. Ingrid, I assume Ingrid has already shared this information. This was a pro who trashed the place. The only reason a pro would come in and steal this kind of gear is because they were doing either a very hard job or a job where they really didn't want to get caught, or some combination thereof. But if you were this good, you wouldn't need a Chime of Opening or Dust of Disappearance to, turn over mom and pop shop,
So it begs the question, where do they want to steal from that they need this stuff?
I'll ask Professor Araminta, how many charges were left in the Chimes of Opening, and how much dust was left in the bag?
There are 3 uses of the dust. Most Dust of Disappearance, there's just like 1 use in the bag. She's obviously studying it, so there were 3 packets stolen. And go ahead and roll a d10 for the chime.
Gotta find a d10. Found one. 10.
10. One of their better successes so far. They'd gotten it to recover a charge, actually, so it's fully ready to go.
Set to invade multiple places, it seems.
Well, I suppose if I was a master thief, where would I be tasked to rob from where I'd feel the need to get that sort of thing to back me up?
Is there anywhere else in this university or institute or whatever that's particularly well guarded? I imagine that in some pursuits of wizards there must be artifacts of particular value or other such things.
Yes, absolutely. There are, anything with the dean is heavily guarded. We do keep some money on site, so that's heavily guarded. My understanding of the situation is that there haven't been any other break-ins. Security went around and did a sweep afterwards. They didn't find anything. I assume that means that they didn't find anything stolen. I assume they checked the most important places.
It's probably not here.
Seems to me that just because this place was robbed for the purposes of getting better thieves' tools doesn't mean this is the final destination of the thief in question.
Of course. Just good to rule it out.
Yeah.
Do we...
Another thing.
Oh, yes, please.
These are relatively mundane, I guess maybe not the time of opening, but the dust disappearance would be something you could get, right, anywhere. You go to any other magic shop, you could probably get some dust disappearance, right?
You could get the dust of disappearance. The chime of opening would be a little bit harder.
Yeah.
If you had, money or connections, though, these things... Well, you could get these things easily. You wouldn't have to steal these two items.
Exactly. So why would they steal them from here?
Were you making any particular modifications in your research to, recharge these items? Was there anything that made them particularly unique from their more mundane counterparts?
Not especially potent in any way, no. The extents to which they can even recharge is, still unknown. The chime of opening has been mildly successful. We've gotten it to regain some magical energy. I could explain, and she starts to kind of go off arcano babble about how it works, but the gist of it is that even with the idea that it could recharge, quotes, it's not like this is some special chime of opening where it's oh yeah, if you get through 30 doors, because I could just keep ringing it would keep charging. It's more yeah, if you used all 10 today, we might be able to get another one back in a couple weeks.
I guess
which is still better. That would make it worth way more money to people, which is kind of the whole point of this investigation. But
last thing I can think of to investigate here is honestly just to get up close and personal with the dirt and see if we can identify anything about where in the city it came from.
Someone has to lick the dirt, and I don't want it to be me.
Oh, don't worry, I got a very refined palate.
Or perhaps if there was somebody connected to the world of thievery who might know more. Looking pointedly at Lepan.
I will ask my associates to see if they know anything about any upcoming jobs, whoever this professional thief is. I would have some personal interest in who that person is and what that job might be. But for now, I think, yes, let's figure out what this dirt is. He kind of scoops it up in his little
way
paws.
ahead of you.
And gives it to Bileyg.
I don't have any special skills for figuring out where the dirt is from. It's just I'm closer to the ground, so.
I think that this seems... I would say nature check would get you the closest, but if someone would like to make an investigation check, or if there's something else that you would like to do. Also, keep in mind you can cast spells and stuff, so if there's any spells you want to be casting, I don't know what all you guys have. You're all new characters. So...
Yes.
I have 6 total spells, and none of them apply to this situation.
I could detect magic,
I could cast
but I
detect
imagine
magic, but I think I would just
lot-
flashbang myself.
Yeah, a lot of things in this room are probably magic.
Yeah, but...
that's definitely true, but it's not like you're going to get, sensory overload.
That's what you think.
Unless there's something
overload.
I can get sensory overload from things you people
mundane
wouldn't
here
believe.
that's not supposed to be magical, then that could be interesting.
True.
Arlen,
But yeah, my nature is a flat +0, so if anyone's better at that than me and wants to take a crack at
Ingrid
this dirt,
will very up at you and I will investigate
dip a
the
pinky
dirt.
into the dirt.
Okay.
I'll also roll because I have pretty decent investigation in nature.
Okay, go for it.
I got a 14 total.
14 total.
I got a 9.
I'll roll nature.
9 is tough. You want to go for it?
This dirt tastes not
Also 14.
14. In the future, I'm going to hold doing the same check to either 2 people or 1 person rolling with advantage with the help of someone else.
I like it.
All good. With 14s, it's... The remarkable thing about it is it's unremarkable. It's just dirt that's been sitting here for, like, more than a day.
Does it remind
More
us
than a
of
day.
the, like...
Or, like,
the dust
it's-
of the hive ward at all? Like,
No, we... Oh, yeah.
You know, that magical carpet
no, it's
conversation's not coming full
that
circle.
that might have been something that you noticed, like, that there was, like, you know,
Yeah.
grime and grease in it, but it just seems like shoe dirt that was tracked in here during classes yesterday.
It might be worth our time to talk to the custodians. This seems to be like a fairly clean building, but this place doesn't look like it's been touched
No.
quite some time.
Yes, I can't detect anything particularly interesting about this dirt, other than it's where it ought not to be. So, custodians are probably a good conversation to have. And again, Lepan, if you have anyone that you think we should perhaps talk to, this does seem to be a rather professional gig. That could also be on the to-do list.
I turn back to Professor Araminta. You said the custodians clean in between classes when there aren't anybody in. Do you have a particular time as to when the custodians last cleaned your office? And for that matter, when was the last time you were in your office? It gives us an estimation of how long this place has been dirty for and how long this place has been ransacked for.
I left at about 10 after peak last night. 10 o'clock at night, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I came in, let's see, she would have had to get in about, like, 8 before peak, before peak, so, like, 8 in the morning, in order for Glossary to get to you guys on time. So it was just the window of the night. She says, as I said, they come in when people aren't there, usually. So I don't know when they were last in.
Do they have an office or, rec room or anything?
Oh, yes. She gives you directions. It's basically on another tier of the thing, but you'll be able to take a carpet there.
Well, I don't know that I have any further questions at this juncture. I believe we must continue our investigations elsewhere. And Ingrid will look around at the rest of the group. Any more deductions to make at this locale?
Oh, no, I think I've about seen everything I can here.
Agreed.
All right.
See?
You go. So, that is our first scene done, our first investigation, and it seems like you want to continue investigating. So, some people want to go talk to the custodial staff, basically. Is there anything else anyone else wants to do, or
Would be worth hitting someone you know up, Evrard?
That might take time. Later.
Sorry?
well, and I'll remind you guys that scenes are narrative time, not strict time. So,
Okay.
if you wanted to split up, we would narratively they'd run at the same time, and they would fill the same slot. To encourage
Okay.
you guys to do your own things and take care of your own stuff without having to worry about, like, oh, well, this will take 10 minutes, but this will take an hour.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
in that case, I will go and see if I can. What's my background? I guess I'll go talk to Copper if anything.
Yeah, you can talk to Copper. He's definitely one of the easiest to find,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because he has a day job.
Would you like somebody to accompany you?
I could use the company always.
Very well. And I'll tag along.
Well, Bileyg, I
Alright.
suppose we've got some janitors to speak to about some unceremoniously left dirt.
Yeah, good idea. I was also hoping maybe we could talk to some of the guards just to see if anyone came in that they thought was noteworthy.
Oh, sure, that makes
Last night.
sense. So I suppose we're off to
I mean,
chat with the university staff.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you guys go to one of the more is municipal the right word? One of the more like administrative buildings, following directions from Araminta, and security and custodial staff are both located in this same building. Security are generally they're like imagine the power level of, like, you know, a town guard, right? They're people who are armed with, they have, like, leather armor on, and they're each armed with, like, a short sword and a short bow. Some of them are clearly magical and have, like, some arcane capabilities. They are currently in a big huff. I'll give you the rundown of going there that, no, they don't currently have any leads, which is exactly what basically Araminta said. They didn't see anyone, but there was regular staff rotation through there. Like, there were guards there. It's not like there was a hole, according to them anyway. It's not like there was a hole in their guard duty there. And nothing else has been stolen, and then they kind of just want to, like, shove you along because you guys are not even part of the Institute, and they're kind of embarrassed this whole thing has been happening, so.
Could I make an insight check just to see if they're not telling us anything?
Yeah, go for it.
1.
Ooh.
From the 20 to the 1. Yeah, go for it.
Could I
You
make
wanna
a
roll as well?
persuasion check to see if
Yeah,
they
go for
can, you know, yeah, all right. Well, let's see. Natural 20 plus 5.
Natural 20? Alright, so they're kind of shoving you off.
Well,
They're kind of shoving you off, but, Bileyg, you
I
catch...
like that.
You catch the eye of kind of like a younger guy here. He's a half-elf who introduces himself as Damien. And when you go talk to... Like, he kind of sees that you're trying to be helpful. And he comes up and he says, don't mind them. They're, this kind of thing doesn't usually happen here. But I take it you're just trying to help. Am I right about that? Damien. By the way.
Lovely to meet you. Name's Bileyg. Yeah, I mean, you know, situation like this, an already competent thief breaks in, gets tools to make him an even better thief. It makes a lot of people nervous. You know, ideally, we'd like to figure out where they're aiming before they get there. And, you know, any bit of detail could help with that. But, you know, I understand everyone's busy.
Everything you just said was basically new information to this guy.
Well,
He was like, oh, they were a professional thing. He goes like, oh, wow, you do make good work. He kind of looks over at the rest of them and goes like, listen, between you and me, I think that this might be a little over our heads. The higher-ups here, they want answers, not questions, when they go and have to eventually report all of this to the dean. Right now, there's a lot of, we're working on it, trying to buy some time. They would like to be the ones to claim the credit, but I would like it if we could all just sleep at night knowing exactly what happened and make sure that this sort of thing doesn't happen again. So, you know, if you have more information, you need more help, call on me here. But in the meantime, you know, someone walks by, he goes, let me escort you out, sir. And, like, starts to push you along. And he says, like, is there anything else you need from me before you go?
Ooh, oh no, nothing I can think of right now. Ingrid, that's right?
Bunch
We got all the answers we can get from you?
impenetrable walls. All of them. What? Yeah, no, I think we best go talk to the janitorial staff.
Yeah. But thanks, Damien. I'll keep you in mind if we're ever back here. I'll tell you what we found out, and you'll do the same. You know, like if you hear any chatter or you know, figure out anything weird, just let me know. Find us down in the market ward.
It's a big place, but I'll do my best. It's kind of a silly thing to say. It's like it's kind of being like, yeah. Like
I'm
it's
in
like
New York
you've
City
met someone
somewhere.
in New York City. Yeah, if you're like in New York City, you're like, yeah, just meet me downtown.
Oh no, open and shut detectives, heroes for hire. That's
Open
right.
and shut
Ingrid, how many
cases,
more
single
subtitles have we
detectives,
added?
heroes for hire. We have business cards.
Yes,
Here you
yes.
go.
Oh, we do. Oh, that's new. Oh, that's fancy.
Someone in this
thank
joint
you.
has
Where'd
to
you
be
get these?
professional. I know a guy.
All right, I'm getting looks. Goodbye.
All right. Nice kid.
He shoves you out, and your next stop is to. You know what? Let's transition over
Yeah.
and go visit Lapin and Oobtaglor. Lapin, you're going to see Copper, right?
Yes.
All right,
It's a good way to split the party because the rest of us are like absolute turbo narcs. So I think that you're going to talk to your like crime friends with Oobtaglor is like the only way to do it.
Speak for yourself,
All right,
Turbo
so-
Knock.
So good news.
about the vibes,
Copper
Ingrid.
does work in the market ward. He's part of a sect called the Door Snoopers, which are fairly well known. They are mundane locksmiths, but their bigger specialty is they can crack interplanar portals. So people who end up with portals that they can't open, that's like the day-to-day. Mostly they're just like people who lock their keys in their apartment. They're coming to open it for them. But the like real money behind it is someone gets a portal and they're like, I'm pretty sure this opens to Celestia. How? And they're like, okay, well, there's items. Sometimes it's a passcode. Sometimes it's a song or an emotion. Like, there's all these things, and they're the guys who figure that out. So by day, this is his day job. He also is by night a lockpick for different people who have jobs. So you come to visit him at his place of business, which is, there are somewhere on the order of like 24 of these guys. He's pretty specialized. So it's like you walk into this like long room, and there's lots of like little desks around, and people are consulting. There's like a big map of the city up on the wall and a bunch of flags where like there's jobs. There's a lot of hustle and bustle. And as you come in, he looks up and he sees you, Lapin, and immediately gets this like panic look on his face. He's for his profession, he's kind of a nervous guy, and he does not like you being in his place of business. And so he looks and he goes, "Oh, my one before peak appointment's here. Let's speak outside. It's nice out today." And like comes to like put his arms and shuffle you guys out. Just like, no, first off, no one cares. He's being so obvious. And starts to shuffle you guys out. And he gets you out, like walks kind of around the stoop up into the business. And he goes, "What do you think you're doing visiting me here during the day? Just leave me a message and I'll break into your apartment at night."
Mon ami, I don't have an apartment right now. This is the quickest way for me to find you and to
Then
talk,
your place
okay?
of business.
I don't
Also,
think
time-
the kind mademoiselle would appreciate you putting into the office. Let's try to keep this at some point of professionalism, all right? Next time,
I am a professional. That's
send
how
a
I'm able to
message.
get in so easily.
Okay.
Time is also of the essence, somewhat, and so a message might be in ill form in that regard.
Oui.
Who's this?
This is my friend, Monsieur Oob.
I know not to whom you are referring. I am Oobtaglor. Very nice to meet you. Musician extraordinaire. Emissary of change.
What is this, like a Clueless? Their first day in
He
the city?
does this. He does this every time. Okay, look.
I am a well-seasoned Burke, I'll have you know.
Anyway,
My mistake. Sorry to insult. All right. What can I do for you?
there's been a break-in, a thievery, if you will, over at where were we again?
The Institute of Intellectual Excellence.
Yes, there. And they seem to have.
Well, it wasn't me.
Done. Obviously not. You were at work today, this morning. This seems to have happened last night, and I saw you last night too. So it doesn't matter.
I have a good alibi. I was asleep.
Of course you are. They seem to have stolen some things that they can use to steal more things. So we were wondering, what have you heard?
What have I heard? I haven't heard anything about a break-in at the Institute of Intellectual Excellence, but let me tell you, I'm going to be telling some people. I mean, it's no Bank of Abathor, but it's a decent mark. What are they stealing here? They're stealing like gold, diamonds. They're stealing like some deep research or something like that, something to sell. Maybe they're getting like blood money from the blood war, something like that. Some research on weapons or some other magical malady that could be used. What are we talking here? What was taken?
Nothing of the sort, although I do believe that might be a bit more profitable than what was stolen. No, a number of low-level magic items were stolen. However, they were magic items that would be useful if one wished to perform another act of thievery, let's say. And so I suppose a question for you would be, are there any particularly valuable marks that might be difficult to get into without the use of, say, dust of disappearance or chimes of opening?
You see Copper looks at you like kind of skeptical, and then he looks over at Lapin. He says, "This cutter good to be let in on the dark?" He's like, can I tell this guy like trade secrets? Like, am I gonna be screwing myself over?
I've worked with Monsieur Oob for quite some time now. Tell him what you can.
All right. I haven't heard anything, but what I'm hearing from you is not adding up. If someone did break in to this Institute of Academic Excellence, and they were professional, stealing mundane magic items doesn't make any damn sense. Even items that could be used to do another heist. They're just easier places to get to. I wouldn't break into Bank of Abathor and steal copper. You know what I mean? Doesn't make any sense. But let's say that this did happen. They decided that was their best mark for some reason. They stole these items and they're trying to get in somewhere better. Any self-respecting thief would be working in a crew to pull off a job that needed extra assurance, so to speak. I haven't heard any word for any job being put out, like I told you this morning. There's lots of talk, people waiting for something, but there's no big job happening. My guess is that this person's operating solo. Where they would be going then, well, that's personal now. But I can keep my ear to the ground if you want to know.
Please do. I don't think we'll learn anything else here, Monsieur Oob. Once again, Copper, thank you very much. You can go back to work now. We won't take up any more of your time.
All right, and if you do catch this thief, tell him that we're hiring. So,
I'll let you know.
All right, awesome. Okay, Oob, was it? It's nice to meet you.
No, Oobtaglor, Oobtaglor. You may refer to me by my first name, Oobtaglor. I do not answer to any truncations of my name, however.
Good, don't take it from this guy. Oobtaglor, it's a pleasure. Please don't rat me out, or I will find you.
I don't even know who you are.
No one does.
I turn to Oobtaglor and I say, I do.
Well, it's not very useful ratting out Copper to you. You already know him.
Okay.
All right.
Will you
Cutting
give me money
back.
if you rat
He has no money.
No.
He's got no. Okay. Let's go meet up with the good madam and the good sir. Ready?
All right, you guys start to head back to the Institute, and we'll go and speak to the custodial staff. So, a quick jaunt from where you were, a decidedly less busy and less hurried place. You see, well, actually, that's not entirely true. You do see that there is a kind of beleaguered, is that the right word? Sometimes I use words and I go, do I actually know what that means, or have I just read it a bunch of times?
It's impossible to know
You see
until
this
the
kind of
sentence is finished.
Yeah. Let the audience figure it.
You see this kind of stressed looking, going over some like paperwork and stuff. Woman in the office that is clearly the custodial place. She's a hobgoblin, so she's got like red skin, and she looks up at you and she says, "Hi, can I help you? Is there a request?"
Hello, we're from Open and Shut
Pardon
Cases.
me, sorry, she just pushes past you and like starts moving books around. Says, "Oh, sorry, continue."
Yes, we're from Open and Shut Cases, Single Detectives, Heroes for Hire. I'm Ingrid Starling, and this is my associate, Bileyg. We're here investigating the recent break-in in your facility, and we wished...
Security is 2 floors up.
Yes, we've already been made aware of their presence, but it is your department's keen eyes that we hoped to avail ourselves of. I was wondering if you could tell me if...
Okay, we'll make it quick. I'm already down to work for the day, okay? So we gotta...
what happened, if I may
Who's
ask?
missing?
One of our employees called out sick. What do you...
And this employee wouldn't happen to be one who typically cleans the area where the break-in was, by any chance?
She cleans all over. Anywhere there's a mess, she cleans.
Interesting.
Was she, by any chance, deployed to clean the aforementioned office yesterday? Do you have any records of that sort of thing, or...?
What's the office? She goes, like, brings out another book and flips through to a schedule.
Ooh, you run a very tight ship, ma'am. Ingrid, you're gonna need to help me out here.
Only way to make sure this whole place... Raises her hands up. This whole place gets cleaned.
Yes, we're
And everyone wants it clean.
We're specifically talking about the office of Professor Ormenta.
Yeah.
I don't know any of their names. You'll have to give me a number.
Oh.
You guys know the number of the room, but...
Yes. It's XYZ,
go back
459,
now.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys know the location. She goes, pulls it out. Yep. Looks like that was on Rel's route last night. You saying it didn't get cleaned?
No, there was quite a bit of dirt tracked in there.
I suppose
and,
in a mad...
seemed like it had been there for most of the day.
If you mean
Maybe
cleaned
she called out sick before she got around to that room. Sorry?
Well, it's just that it was robbed, you see.
Okay. Oh, you think Rel did it?
Well, I think we would at least want to ask her what she was doing instead of cleaning the aforementioned office.
Okay, well... She gotta give you... Go ahead and make me a persuasion check.
Oh boy, okay.
One or both of you, or one of you guys can do it with advantage with help from the other if you'd like.
I would like to... I have a +6 to persuasion. Can I take the help action for Bileyg?
I've only got a +5. I can give you the help action.
If you are helping someone, you gotta be better at it.
Oh,
or actually,
never
or
mind,
proficient.
sorry.
That's not true. If you're proficient, you can also help someone.
I am proficient in persuasion. So
There you go. So you can help Sophia. So that the way that works narratively is either you have to be just straight better than this person, or you have to be trained in practice, meaning that even though they might be better than you, there's something you might know that they might not in order to help them. So that's totally legal. Sophia, you can roll with advantage.
Yes, we just have a few questions, and that's a dirty 20. It's very important to have a very comprehensive view of the situation when you're investigating a crime, and, no one has their eyes to the ground like your department, and I do think that there might be something to glean from your missing employee if we could know her name and location and whatnot.
Okay. Here you go. She writes down Rel, and then she writes down an address that is in the Hive Ward.
Ooh.
She tears it out of the book, folds it up, and hands it to you. She says, "Just be kind. If she really is out sick, I really don't need anyone harassing her. She's got a kid at home. We don't need a big dust up." So she kind of looks you up and down. If you had rolled poor, you get the sense that, like, as kind of semi-adventurers, she would have been like, I don't think I want people who use force to achieve their will visiting the home of one of my employees. But you were pretty reasonable about it and kind of sold it as looking to make sure she's, if she knows anything, she might help get to the bottom of it at least. So she's like, well, that's pretty good. She might actually be able to help with that. So you get the address, and she says, just try not to make a big dust up about it, okay?
Dust up. Very clever.
I don't know what you mean.
All right, well,
Right.
we've taken up enough of your time, ma'am. Thank you very much. You've been very helpful.
Ta-ta.
Okay, thank you very much for bothering me. Have a good day.
Well,
I tell you, everyone here is so businesslike.
I know, it's dreadfully boring. I never really understood those academic types. Seems it extends to even their maintenance departments.
Oh, well, you know. It's a lot of work. I'm always very impressed. Anyway, should
All
we
right.
Reconvene with the
I
others?
believe we should.
You guys reconvene back where the magic carpets let you off, and that will end. I'll let you guys share information as you wish.
Yes, we have the address of an employee who called out sick, conspicuously on the same time that the break-in happened, and they were supposed to have a cleaned house. Now, we do have a request from the boss to be kind. They do have a child at home, but I do think it's worth speaking with this employee, as they would have had access to the room, and, well, they are conspicuously absent.
That lines up with the insights that Lapin's friend had, in that no one would break into a place as well guarded as the Institute to only steal some mundane items. This is most possibly an inside or a personal sort of job.
That does make sense.
Would we happen to know whether or not this Rel person is a rather adept thief?
Well, it sounds like they're just an okay cleaning person, given the amount of dirt in the room, but I suppose that does not necessarily suggest that they'd be any better at, cleaning house, stealing items, so...
Well, I think if we'd asked any more follow-up questions, we would have been in danger of legitimate bodily harm, so we're gonna need to figure out some of this on the go, I think.
Right.
Fair enough.
All right. So am I to take it that you guys are all heading to the to Rel's house?
I'm gonna say maybe we should not all pile in this lady's front door in the Hive Ward.
Well, I think maybe we should all go that way, though. I don't know if we have a second destination. Unless someone has a
It's
second
in the lower
destination.
ward. I don't know if I said Hive Ward. I
You
meant
said
lower
Hive Ward.
You said
Did
That
I?
makes
My
more
mistake.
sense.
It's
Okay.
lower ward. It's not far from your offices, honestly.
Okay.
Lower ward it is.
I think it's best if we
Yeah.
all go. Just, keep in mind this child at home. Inside voices.
All right.
I only speak
And-
in an inside voice.
You busk.
What's that?
And I'm
is
very
Voice
good
of God?
at doing it. Stage voice is an inside voice. Stage is inside.
Of course, it's a good idea. All right. With that, I think we're gonna go ahead and go to our break, and we will pick up with you guys, confronting your only suspect, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
All right. We'll
Boy,
see you
this
guys
better
back
work.
in a minute.
Adios.
Yeah.
Rolling with difficulty.
Have you ever wanted a weird little dude all your own? Well, now you can get one. Starting right now with this episode's release, Rolling with Difficulty is partnering with CrowdMade to create and sell pins of our favorite RoboCat, Plug. Now you can show off your captain status in style. This enamel pin of our best boy is not only beautifully designed by campaign artist Wally, but his little head actually bobbles, nodding along to your luckiest of bolts. Pre-orders are live from now until July 22nd and are expected to ship out in August, so if you want to get a little guy all your own, go right on down to those show notes, check out the link, and order yourself a weird little dude. I know I'm excited to have my little enamel plug hanging out and telling me that all my decisions are good ones, and I hope that you guys enjoy him as well. Thanks for listening.
Rolling with difficulty.
We're kind of like rats in our habit, you know?
Yeah.
Rats will always take the same path back and forth. Keep that in the recording. Welcome back.
Yo, we're back.
Good work, gang.
Great. We
And
gotta
we're
feed
back.
the rats. The rats are hungry.
Rats?
What?
Rats? We don't have
rats.
any
You
immediate
guys
weird
didn't
little
roll
dudes.
many
We could just
hands.
get some rats up in here, and that could be our
we
weird little
could.
dudes.
I want to make friends with the Rat King so badly. So badly.
One of the there's a couple of things that people consider pests in Sigil. The razor vine is one of them. It's just a sharp, annoying plant that grows all over the city and is constantly trying to swallow it. That's most of what the Dabus do, is just like trim back razor vine. But there's also cranium rats.
Cranium rats.
There's like an infestation.
Yeah.
No one's really sure how they got here. Presumably it was a mind flayer experiment. Kind of like
Oh my
on Long
goodness.
Island we have monk parakeets because
Yeah.
there was an accident with a truck carrying a bunch of monk parakeets. They got out and now they just live on the power lines. But it's kind of the same. Like presumably at some point there was a nautiloid mind flayer ship. Mind Flayer Nautiloid here with cranium rats on it, and they just got out, and they're all over the place now. But if you
I'm
get
just
enough of them
imagining-
together, they create a sympathetic intelligence. Like the intelligence is stack, and they become a full thinking person that's made of a bunch of rats.
I've got a very strong image in my head
I
all of
love
a sudden
D&D.
of just like in the Mind Flayer Not Alloyed, some Mind Flayer's just been like accidentally leaning on like the portal to Sigil button, and there's just been an endless deluge of cranium rats just like pouring into the river for 3 days.
We stand the cranium
It's like,
rats.
oh shit, my bad.
Baldur's Gate 3 players who have
Like
made it to
Pablo
Act 3 will know.
Escobar's escaped hippopotamuses.
I've done nothing but teleport rats for 3 days.
All right. So anyway, in D&D stuff that's happening.
Well, let's not be so
Well,
hasty.
last we
Maybe
left our
could,
heroes.
Maybe we could go talk to some rats instead.
Yeah, this
Right.
robbery doesn't seem too
You
interesting.
guys
This
let
custodian
this
person.
woman get away with it because there's
She did
rats. There's simply rats to talk to.
She's
Well,
guilty.
I mean, we don't.
Uh,
hey, that's metagaming.
We
What?
don't know that yet.
What was
That's
that?
a
Voice of God?
Did anyone take Speak with Animals, by the way? Did anyone
I
learn their Baldur's Gate
almost
3
did.
lesson
I almost
and
did.
take Speak with Animals to talk to any of the animals that live in Sigil?
Is
No,
that
I
on the
am animal.
paladin spell list? Because I don't think it is.
I'm just having to
The
be good
next
at
spell
with
is
trades,
friendship, I guess.
you know?
That's the closest thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Animal
so,
handling. Same thing, right?
Animal handling is this. Yeah, animal handling is the same thing as speaking directly to a rat.
Yup.
Fantastic. I hate you guys.
Rodent to rodent communication.
When we.
If they're semi-sentient, like that's you
Yeah.
know.
Could the
what
message
happens to
spell
This is
the
our
communicate
this
with
is
the
our
rat?
worst onboard back into an episode ever.
You know.
I think you mean the best.
This is the first episode you
Guys, we
have
gotta
to
litigate
do
the rats
this.
now because they're gonna be such a critical part of the podcast going forward. We need to
this
know
is
the
peak rat lore.
specifics. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've actually cracked the big bad wide open.
I
It's just
would
gonna be the
like
rats.
this is my first fan out of my Death by Monday moment. I would like your best rat version of each of the main cast. Like draw us. I
Before
want
we even
Ingrid
get
to
real
rat.
fan art,
Bring
we
us
need
detective
rat fan
style.
art.
We
Just
rat
met
fan art.
us.
Yeah.
But I have to be a mouse because I'm so
It's-
little.
It's just
Baby rat.
Oobtaglor, but there's a rat in him. It's the exact same.
Just a skeleton rat floating in the ooze.
Fan art desk Monday. You know the drill.
The first inspiration of the campaign goes to Wally.
Yes, let's go. Let me mark that on my character sheet.
That's what do you guys? It's a D6, I think, at
I think
this
it's a
level for
D6,
you
yeah.
bards.
we're so tiny.
Oh, we're so itty bitty. We're so
Fantastic.
wee. so
We're just
teeny,
so
teeny,
little.
tiny.
Something I ate.
So, with no further ado,
Oh, fuck.
we cut to the lower ward, not far from your office, just a little bit up and around the corner from the Alley of Dangerous Angles, is Blackshade Lane.
Yes.
Here you find the address you're looking for, a small apartment building, kind of towers over a lot of the street here, as many of those buildings do. Spires and kind of pointed shapes coming off all of it. A lot of the area here has that kind of same design that, like, just, it's sharp. In general, it's sharp. This one, though, kind of juts out into the street a little bit, kind of creating some alleys on either side. You go upstairs, you have to go all the way up to the 3rd floor, but you find the room, the room that you're looking for. The number is on the door. What would you like to do?
Knock, knock, knock.
Oh wait, is there? How did we get in? I want to make sure that, because obviously all 4 of us showing up might be a little
Yeah, that's what I was
too
thinking.
much. So if we have 2 people hang back and cover exits,
Oh.
Yeah,
I was
I think
thinking that.
we can have the faces go out and try
Yeah.
and win her over, and let the sneaky boy and the ooze individual.
I feel like Oobtaglor might take offense to not being included in one of the faces.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
What
yeah.
are you suggesting?
Hey, I
you don't
mean,
even
I
have
just
a face.
look.
Okay?
No
So-
disrespect to those of us who do not
I
always
don't
have faces.
a face, but I
I'm
am
just-
the face.
Well, one of us
Well.
is actually famous, so let's not get too crazy.
And one of us got today's client. What are we discussing here?
Basically, I would like to talk to the woman. Who would like to go watch the exits?
I'll watch the exit, but not because I'm not the face.
Good work. Look, Oobtaglor, we just don't
okay.
want her to be intimidated
There's
by
a
you.
front
All right, you're quite a
door- there's a
commanding
front
presence.
There's a front door and there's a back door out into an alley behind.
Oh, I got the alley for sure. Yeah, left that.
Okay.
I shall make my presence known at the front door.
I will be at the front door as well, knocking.
I'm also at the front door?
Well,
All
is
right,
the
so
front
there's
door
the front
same
door
as...
to the building, and there's the apartment door. I believe Sophia's at the
yeah,
apartment
yeah,
door.
yeah.
Yeah, apartment door. Okay.
Apartment. Okay.
Evrard
I'm up to speed.
is at the back door. Oobtaglor is at the front door,
Yeah, of the
or the
building.
apartment.
Like,
the building, and then Bileyg is with Ingrid as well. So the same teams that we had before.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I was gonna say boys night, girls night, but it's not even close to that actually.
No.
We got
Player-wise,
team
it
tall
is,
and small.
There's team tall and small. You're small, and you're with the tall elf.
The
And
only
then
one
you've
who's
got
tall is Ingrid.
This is
Yeah.
We're never gonna finish
Team
this episode.
lowercase b.
Welcome to our first two-parter of the campaign, folks. No, I'm joking. We're fine. So
knock, knock,
stationed
knock.
as you are, knock, knock, knock. No answer.
Hello? Delivery? Knock, knock, knock.
No answer.
Is the door unlocked?
You try it. The door is locked.
Bileyg, you're a good person, right?
That feels like a very loaded question, Ingrid. What are you about to ask me?
If you say yes, I was going to tell you to look the other way for a moment, and if you said no, I
Oh.
was going to pick the lock right in front of you.
Ah, I see. You know, somebody should probably check on Oobtaglor. They were looking a little bit down earlier. I'll just be a little bit closer to the entrance for a couple minutes.
All right, I'll try and pick the lock.
Oh, my alignment.
All right, go ahead and roll your lockpicking check. Thieves' tools plus nonsense. Just thieves' tools is the nonsense, honestly.
Dun. Okay. It's a natural 14, and what is the nonsense?
Thieves.
So thieves' tools, if you're proficient, which I believe you are,
I
is
am.
your dexterity plus your proficiency bonus.
Actually, yeah, I am dexterity plus dexterity. Okay, dexterity. Where's my dexterity? 3 plus 5. That is a 19.
19 will definitely do it pretty easily. You get this lock open. Do you just have a set of lockpicking tools like stowed on you at all times? This is.
I have a lot of bobby pins. When you do theatre and you have to put your hair up in those complicated do's, it's so hard to get all the bobby pins out. But when you retire and go into all sorts of crime fighting and things, it becomes very useful to always have a couple bobby pins in your hair.
Understood. You trance for 4 hours, and then the other 4 hours people are sleeping. You're doing your hair, putting bobby pins in it.
It's a very complicated braid.
It's
Hey, that it is.
Look, I never claimed to not be vain. I just also happen to be very dexterous. I couldn't decide if I wanted to say deft or dexterous, and so it came out as dexterous. Dexterous.
You open the door and step into a humble one-room apartment. Off to the side, there's a small little kitchenette area. There's a large chimney that runs up the side of the building, and there is like an outlet for the chimney here, so they can like cook and let some of the smoke out. It's kind of this like layered chimney kind of weird thing. There's some shelves and dressers in here. There's a nice like little carpet on the floor. A table with two simple chairs at it. There is a larger bed on one side of the room up against the windows, and then with a sort of like partition curtain hanging in front of it, there is a sectioned off little area with a smaller a bed. Both of them are empty. The entire apartment is empty.
I will, I'm gonna point towards where I think Bileyg just went to and cast message. It would appear the apartment is empty if anyone wanted to come take a look around.
Oh, how crazy that the door just opened by itself.
Yes, it's wild. I mean,
Yeah.
irresponsible in such a rough area, but certainly not unlikely.
Well, you know how it is in this town.
You
All
can
right,
respond to message.
yeah, I'm gonna pop my head out and be like, Oobtaglor, looks like the place is empty. We might be able to take a look around.
Okay, I'll go
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Okay.
Case
I'm
the
just
I'll
assuming
look at it as
Evrard
well.
might have been able to hear that anyway.
Yeah,
Big
I'll
ears.
grab the panel.
Big ears.
Big ears. You know what they say.
Yeah.
She is big.
Hear a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay.
All right, you guys all make your way up and see the same scene as Ingrid has. This sparse, very, very common kind of looking place in the lower ward. The window is grimy from all the smog outside. You can hear workers and stuff in adjacent buildings, carrying crates. There's, like a dye factory not far away. So, like, there's, kind of like a smell in the air from all those chemicals that's being used, things like that. And there's just kind of like general stains around as a result. Yeah, what would you like to do?
I like to ritually cast Detect Magic, because my immediate thought is if they use the Dust of Disappearance and they're just sitting somewhere in this room invisibly, there's still a way to detect if they're there.
All right, fair enough. You begin to ritually cast. That will take 10 minutes, I believe.
Yep.
All right.
While you're doing that,
in the meantime,
I'd like to look at the is there any food out in the apartment, and how old is it? Did they have a meal set up and then they skedaddled, or are there remnants of breakfast or something?
I'll say no check for this. There is food in the apartment. There's not leftover food. You don't see anything moldy sitting out. It's been out for days. The place was like they ran away mid-meal. There's no pot of coffee that's gone cold. Similarly, there's no hot coffee. It looks like there's no one here, but not that it's abandoned. Either because someone just ran out or left a long time ago. But as you're searching the kitchen area, you do see that there is a piece of paper sitting on the table in the little kitchen area.
I will look at what's on the paper.
Excellent. How much experience do you think Bileyg has with devil contracts?
I think this is probably something Bileyg actually knows a lot about in theory, but has almost certainly never seen in person.
Understood. Well, I will tell you that if you've heard of this, then I would say you understand that's what this is. Getting more information is going to require some rolling from yourself or from someone else. But you pick this up and you're like, oh, yeah, I've never seen one of these, but living in the Hive Ward, you've heard a lot about them. You know the people who've been affected by them, kind of thing. There's no mistaking a devil contract.
What language is that written in?
It is written in Common, believe it or not.
Oh wow! Then I can just read this thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say speak Infernal, but
can.
if not, only if needed.
Yeah.
It's a good thought.
Yeah. I don't really have any skills to parse out the exact terms of this, but if I can just read it and try and get a feel for it, my int's not the best either, but I would at least try, no matter what.
Yeah, you can try. Well, go ahead and make a roll, and then other people, if there's someone else who would like to make a roll as well, they can get in on this.
Am I adding anything to this, or is it just flat D20?
How would you like to? Are you going to try to insight this? Are you going to try to investigate this? The roll you make would determine the kind of results you get. But if you could justify it to me, then I'm happy to let you do it.
Yeah, I would not mind doing this as an insight check, because I think the place my mind goes is okay, what do I know about this woman? Works as a janitor in this incredibly prestigious area, is incredibly skilled at thievery, but clearly had no other option other than stealing, and is also evidently single mother of a young child. Why did she make this contract, and what is she getting out of it?
Oh no, her
So
first
not
child.
what are the terms?
All right.
Well, yeah.
Does anyone else want to make any kind of check with this, read it over, do anything with the contract?
Ingrid would like to take a look if someone brings it to her, but I think otherwise she's just going to focus on the casting of the spell. So I'm happy to hold
I will
mine
say
until
Ingrid
after.
is casting the spell now.
Yeah.
Ingrid
Right.
is busy, so
Yeah,
this is up to Oobtaglor or Evrard. You guys can also do a different check if you like, and then we'll just circle back to it.
Yeah. Should I roll while we're figuring that out?
Go ahead and roll insight. Yep.
All right.
I'll read it. I don't know if I'm trying to discern anything from
Disgraceful.
it, but
5.
I'll just read surface level, what was traded and stuff like that.
So reading even surface level is difficult because it is not written in Infernal, but it's written in Common, but Infernal jargon.
Legalese.
It's legalese.
Yeah, exactly.
It's legalese. This is gonna take a check to get through.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of check would this be? Is this
Intelligence is the most obvious for parsing this. If you have another skill you would think would be appropriate, again, I'm open to I'm open to whatever you might suggest. If you can
I would say
justify
this. Oobtaglor is pretty good at deception. They know how to bullshit, and so conversely, they know how to cut through the bullshit.
Okay, you want to roll like a deception check?
Yeah, just to
Or an insight or
basically
something?
a deception check to like filter out like what is the non-essential legalese jargon. Cut through the bullshit basically is what I'm trying to justify this as a deception check for.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, I like it. I'm gonna set the DC a little higher, but go ahead and roll an investigate. It's a deception check.
Okay. Natural 20.
Woo!
No way.
Natural 20.
On fire.
You are a master of wordsmithing as a bard, both as a performer and as a professional bullshitter. You are a master of manipulating language, and as you look through here, there's a lot of language manipulation. Most of it, though, is fairly mundane. You come to a section that is sort of in the middle, a larger section, that you can tell is specifically dancing about, and a single line sticks out to you among the rest of this legalese nonsense, which is, it becomes clear to you that this is the sale of a soul. This is the sale of a soul for gold. But as you cut through, you see that there is a line that specifically, the first time it specifically calls this out, it says, the sale of the soul of her blood. And then it is only referred to as the aforementioned soul for the remainder of the text. That one specific trick of language you think must be specifically deceptive, and that whoever wrote this contract put in put in this clause as a trick.
The soul of the blood was the wording you said?
First,
Sale of the soul of her blood.
Of her blood.
It's almost certainly
so
her
we're
child.
getting Rumpelstiltskin up in here.
Oh boy, okay.
I'll go and relay that to the rest of the group.
Oh, that's
Oof. Okay.
Oh, also,
I'm gonna
has
I'm
it been
gonna
signed?
activate Divine Sense. As an action, I can detect good and evil. I can sense anything affected by the Hallow Spell or know the location of any celestial fiend undead within 60 feet that's not behind total cover. I don't know if there's anything around here. I just want to, get the vibe check for anything celestial or fiendish.
No, good thinking. As you do the... so read it to me one more time.
Divine Sense. As an action, you can detect good and evil. Until the end of your next turn, you can sense anything affected by the Hallow Spell or know the location of any celestial fiend undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover. You can use this feature 4 times per long rest. It's not the strongest. It's just okay, so we're actively dealing with a child soul napping right now, so... Okay, first things first.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
By the way, that's just a one-time thing. That's not it doesn't last or anything, right?
It lasts one turn, but it just says I can do it as an action.
One turn, gotcha.
So it seems like in
Gotcha.
downtime I can just keep doing it, but it doesn't say that specifically. It doesn't have an
Understood.
X times per day. Wait, yes it does.
Yeah, it's not
No?
Yes, it does.
Wait.
4 times per day. But
Okay, yeah.
It's but it's not it's not a concentration. Anyway, it does not detect anything.
Great. Okay.
This was an obvious question, but it's been signed, right? We can see signatures on it or intent of
Yep, it
having
has been
signed
signed.
it. Yeah. And it's been signed by Rel.
It's been signed by Rel.
And who else?
Yeah.
Who's the devil?
Excellent. Okay. Oh, yes, an excellent point of order. So there's an interesting thing here. Does anyone want to make? If anyone would like to make a history or an arcana check regarding the nature of devil's contracts, that would be the time for that.
I would love to, but point of order, I do think I'm still casting Detect Magic.
Yeah.
I would say that we've done enough checks now. With Oobtaglor going through, your detect magic comes up. There is no invisible person in this room.
Great. Are there any other magical pings?
There are no other magical pings. The magic items are not hidden in this room unless they're very well hidden.
Gotcha. Alright, I will make the check. I'm gonna make a Arcana. And that
go for it.
is a 17 total.
Fantastic. So part of the nature of devil's contracts is that they can be amended because they can be bought and sold just like souls. So you know as you look here that whoever struck this deal might not have been at the first because there's the definitely you can tell that the handwriting is not the same. The names have been replaced, but the names that currently list as the like holder of this contract, the name is Savario.
You think if we
Sorry,
say
wait. How old is this contract? Like, how old is the paper? Or, like, the ink, is any of it faded or something like that?
It's not faded because it's magical, but if you want to make an investigation check, the knowledge that it's like that the handwriting is different definitely would tip you off that it might not be new.
And I guess, like, how fresh does the signature, does Ren's signature look? Like, does it feel like she sold her kid's soul accidentally yesterday, or does it feel like this is a thing they've been dealing with longer term?
Roll me an investigation.
Okay.
You know, it's very rude to ask a contract its age.
7.
7? I
Can
would
someone
say
who actually
that
has a
they're
non-zero int bonus please start rolling these checks?
I mean, I'm pretty good at intelligence. Am I the only one who didn't dump intelligence?
I mean,
I had to dump
+3.
something.
Oh, so I'm actually one of the smarter ones. Oh, shit, okay.
I have an 18 intelligence, so if there's checks you want Ingrid to be making, you can be like, Ingrid, look at this. But
Okay, so yeah.
I don't want to step on anyone's checks. I think it's more fun if
Just
we
gonna
make a
hold
wide
up the
variety.
contract and be like, how long ago do you guys think this was signed, please?
Well, if I take a little investigative gander and roll a 1, that's it's. You know, paper ages incredibly weirdly out in the planescape because some places are very humid and others are very dry, and it
Wow.
makes it very hard to tell.
Ingrid, that's fascinating.
Ingrid, you are having trouble determining like any age of this, partially because it's magical, but also partially because you're distracted by what you've come to know are clear teardrop marks on the paper.
Oh.
Someone really got emotional reading this.
Evard's gonna. The second someone said it was the devil contract, he started taking a wide breath away from it. Not really his kind of thing, but there doesn't seem to be anything else going on in this room, right?
Yeah. You think if we said the devil's name 3 times, they'd show up in the mirror, you know?
I don't think we should risk that right now.
I'll do it.
No, Oobtaglor, we shouldn't do
I
that.
guess-
Secondary question.
Oobtaglor.
Does it look
Oh,
like
here I
this
am.
place was like this place is lived in? You said it didn't look like it had been like hastily abandoned. Are there like possessions still here? Like they didn't like pack up and book
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah, are you looking for anything specific?
No,
there's
I
still
basically just wanted
clothes.
to.
There's still
I'm
food
like-
in the cupboards and stuff like
Right.
that.
I'm like mentally readjusting the time scale we're working on here. This seems like she's working to solve the long-term problem of oopsies, accidentally sold my daughter's soul instead of my
Yeah.
own, rather than we got to get the hell
They
out
are
of Dodge
boys'
right this
clothes.
minute.
I'll let you know, but
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Gotta help my son. Accidentally stole my son's soul.
Do
But-
we know what kind of mortal soul we're dealing with? Is this a human? Is this an elf? Goblin? Is Rella a goblin?
the clothes are sized for the clothes are sized for like a humanoid. They're sized for an orc.
Okay.
I think it's easy enough to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're a little bit bigger than like an average human's clothes.
So Sigel's sort of a meeting place for a lot of different planes. I know of a nearby bar, but are there anywhere that like devils and demons tend to congregate if one were to go to try to relitigate
Devils.
their particular contract?
Devils and demons are meeting everywhere in this city. Some of them high up in the clerk's ward doing official business. Plenty of them in the hive ward doing low, shady stuff, and everywhere in between. That's a tough lead.
I can think of 2 places where she would go right now with the things she just acquired last night. And those would be either she has those things so she can like break in somewhere that has portals out of here so she can just run as far and as fast as she can with her kid. Or she wants to break in somewhere where she'd be able to get rid of the contract or get rid of the devil that she made the
Yeah.
contract with.
There's a place in Sigil that stores contracts, isn't there?
The Hall of Records keeps contracts, but not necessarily every fiendish contract. They keep like contracts that were made in the Hall of Records, which some fiendish ones are, but like the one that Otto signed wasn't fiendish or anything. So it's mostly like binding, like Mechanist's contracts are kept there, which are just as binding as Hell's contracts, as Bator's contracts. But
Plus, when the contract is here, like in front of our faces here,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have had to go anywhere to steal it.
True. It could
I'm
be.
sure it's not as simple to destroy one of these things as just ripping up the paper
Alright.
it's written on.
Let's try to find out when this contract was signed. I'll roll for that, and then I want to find out how long has it been since someone's been in here. I don't know. Can I roll like a survival check?
yeah,
to
that sounds
figure
fine
out-
to me. Yeah.
Okay. Let's start with the survival check first. 9 plus 15. Total of 15.
15.
Yeah.
15, not bad. It's hard to place the exact hour, but you go over, and the first thing you think of is the fire. How fresh is the fire? And as you go, you poke through. It's not hot, but there are still, like, almost like, it's not hot to the touch, but as you pour through the cold, white-gray ash on the outside, you find that there is still a little bit of residual heat on the inside. This fire was lit a couple hours ago. So now it's like late morning, so it was probably like an early morning fire. Someone was here at least this morning.
This feels like an obvious question. What do, like, kids in Sigil do with their day? I feel like there's probably not a standard schooling system they get shipped off to.
Nope, very various. A lot of them just kind of like work with their parents in businesses. A lot of them just kind of like play, or they stay with family members.
Okay.
They get educated. Plenty of them are apprenticed when they're old enough. Some of them go to school if they're well off. Some of them work if they're less well off.
Okay. So this kid could be anywhere, but there's not a specific place we would expect him to be at this time of day, just given from context. Alright, well, I'm about, like, player me is about out of leads, so,
Wally, did you say you have one thing
Yeah,
else you wanted to check?
Yeah. Well, I guess we wanted to know when this contract was signed.
Yeah, go ahead and make an investigation. And then, yeah, and then anyone else who wants to can make me a perception check.
Cool.
Can I
that's a
what was your...
12
Oh, okay.
for investigation? 12.
12?
For investigation.
Yeah, so it definitely is older. It's very hard to tell with something like this if it was like 1 year old, 10 years old, 6 months old, but it is certainly not freshly signed. That the change in ownership tells you that much. And then did anyone roll perception checks?
right, let me do that.
Sorry, can you explain the whole change of ownership thing again? So are you saying that Rel signed this contract under a different fiend and then it passed ownership and now a new fiend owns it? Okay.
That is 100% correct.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I rolled a 7,
perception
so I
checks.
don't know what's going on.
Okay. Other perception checks? Everyone can do this one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
sure. I'm intelligent, not wise.
16.
4.
21.
Okay. Hold on to that, Wally. So,
Okay.
not the under 10s, but
Yeah.
I think it was Oobtaglor. You rolled
16.
16. Oobtaglor and those big bunny ears are the very first to notice footsteps coming up the hallway, up the stairs, and then subsequently through the hallway here. One set of footsteps.
Is that me? We've got company.
Okay.
Is there a window?
There are windows. Yeah, there's like 3 windows actually.
Out we go.
Yeah.
You're on the 3rd floor. There's no balcony or anything.
What if I stayed behind and pretended that like this is my apartment? Because I am a very old woman and I don't want to jump out of that window.
Ingrid, I'm
Sir.
almost certain whoever's coming is the person who's supposed to be in this apartment.
Great, then we can
That
talk
said,
to
I'm
them.
also gonna stay.
Yeah,
but,
right?
Yeah.
It seems like a win-win.
Yeah.
I'll go and hide behind the door. Why not?
Behind the door. All right.
I'll sit down at the table and just make no efforts to hide myself, and like, I guess I've acquired a cup of tea or something by this point.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay. Bileyg
I'm gonna
and
roll-
Evrard, what are you doing?
I'm gonna roll stealth. I'll
Yeah.
find a way to hide in this room
Okay.
somewhere.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
hide behind the door too.
Clinging
All right,
to the
people who
outside
wanna
of the
roll-
windowsill.
Very silly. Everyone can roll stealth. For me, who's not Sophia.
Oh, Beleyg's not rolling stealth. But Bileyg will roll stealth anyway because it's funny.
Gotcha.
Could
I roll
I?
us at disadvantage with a -1.
Because Ingrid doesn't want to seem very threatening on the chance that this is, you
Yeah,
know, our
person we're
the
looking
owner
for.
of the house or a child.
Yeah.
Could I make like a performance
Yeah.
check to just be like at home, natural, and calming?
Yeah, you can give off non-threatening vibes.
I will.
All right. Wally, Noir, what are your stealths?
17.
16.
17? 16? Okay, that beats the passive, so you are both hidden. You guys, as Oobtaglor, you could just kind of go anywhere. And Lapan, you're pretty small. There's some curtains in here. You're kind of able to like hide behind. Bileyg, you just start hanging out the window. You look down three
No,
stories down.
I was joking. I wasn't actually doing that.
Sorry.
Also, I rolled a
All
2
right.
on my stealth because I was curious. I have plate armor and disadvantage, so
Oh, gotcha.
I think I'm actually gleaming slightly because I activated Divine Sense and I'm still sort of glowing. Yeah.
All right. Well, a couple things happen. An orc woman walks into the room. She is
What's up?
she has clearly been up for some time. She is wearing very plain clothes. It's not all black. Like it's not like she's dressed like a ninja, just black all the way down. But they're all
That would
very
be so
dark
fun.
colored in general.
Okay.
She has a couple little pouches on her side, and the first thing she notices is Bileyg, and she stops dead in the doorway before she notices Ingrid as well.
Enchanté.
Looks at you, and
Non-threatening vibes,
how
non-threatening vibes.
how threatening does Bileyg seem right now?
Bileyg is like 3 foot nothing, apple-cheeked, freshly scrubbed.
All right, so there's a moment where she's kind of unsure what to do, and she looks between Ingrid and Bileyg. Neither like at comfort with you guys, but also not immediately darting away. She doesn't say anything for the first moment.
All right.
Hello, dear. Are you? I am to take it. Rel?
What are you doing in my apartment?
Oh, the door was unlocked.
She takes half a step backwards.
Easy. We understand you're in a bit of a tight spot, and it may have led you to perhaps take a rather noticeable action last night of some kind. We just want to understand
Make a
what's going on.
Make a persuasion check.
Alrighty.
Unless you're lying and you really want to book this woman.
No, of course not. Although my
Okay,
deception
okay.
is also pretty
It's
good.
hard to be a single mother.
Dirty 20. Thank you, dice.
Never say
It
that
was
rolling
really
with difficulty
She
doesn't
stops.
support the single moms of the world.
Yeah.
She stops, taking a half step back, and she looks at you. And she says, you said you just want to know like what's going on. She says, you say like you think we were involved with something. And she goes, I don't know what you're talking about. Who are you?
Hello, dear. Ingrid Starling. This is my associate, Bileyg. We're from the Open and Shut Cases, Single Detectives Heroes for Hire. Now, we were initially brought on to consult about the case of a couple of missing items, of which I think you may very well be familiar. But in the process of investigation, it came to our attention that someone was in much greater distress than some stuffy old academic whose special toys were missing. And we would like to offer you our aid if you would bring us up to speed on what seems to be the pressing issues that you're tending to.
Which of us is visibly holding her contract at this point?
Up to you two.
I think I probably had passed it off to the others to investigate better, so I think Ingrid's probably got it just at the table.
I would just like
back at the
maybe
table.
just put
Yeah,
it on the
she-
table.
Her eyes flash to it, then up to you, Ingrid, and she goes, I don't know how you found me, but however you did, you can't help me. You'd be best if you leave now.
Well, we can't do that, and helping people is sort of the whole thing that we do, so, however dire your situation, it would lose you nothing to accept our aid, and if we get hurt in the process, what do you care? We're a bunch of randos.
I can't help
As
but
you
notice
say
that you're,
that-
yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. Well,
Go
I
on.
can't help but notice, your, is your son presently in a safe place, or, is that the order of the day, as it were?
Ooh, make a persuasion check on that one. That's
Okay.
upping whether she's gonna really trust you or really not trust you.
Oh, shit.
As Bileyg says that, you know what? I'm gonna give you advantage because you succeeded on the first check.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll with advantage. As you're saying that though, Evrard, you rolled a 21 perception, right?
Mm-hmm.
You notice as this confrontation is happening and you're kind of like peeking out, you heard her coming, no problem, but you also pick up the sound of like just the faintest. If you didn't have rabbit ears, you couldn't catch it. You pick up the faintest sound of like little feet. No, little wings scrabbling behind her somewhere.
Oh no.
I rolled a 21 on my persuasion.
Okay. You see she loses a lot of the tension in her body and her face softens somewhat, and she says, "They've got Grant. I don't know where they've got him, but they've got him."
All right, ma'am. Well, please take a deep breath, and don't worry. We are going to do everything we can to help you out.
There's nothing you can do. They told me a soul for a soul would do it. That's how it got started in this whole mess. So I stole some, but this Savario, this guy who's got the contract, he said one soul's not equal to another. He wants 100 coins. I don't know where I'm gonna get 100 coins, and I don't think you're gonna know where to get 100 coins either.
Can't say that I do, ma'am, but I suspect there may be more
Then you
direct ways
can't
we can try to solve
help
this.
me.
Do you mean gold or soul coins?
Soul.
Holy snap. Oh, man.
Evrard, that scuttling sound has
Yes.
not gone away. Like, you
Okay.
can hear it, but no one else seems to be paying any attention. It's become clear to you, like, no one else can tell that there's, like, that sound going.
How do I pinpoint this sound? Do I have to make another perception check, or...
No, the perception check was successful. You know, like,
Yes.
the 5-foot square where it is.
Yes.
You just can't see it.
Okay. So there's some sort of...
Like, you're looking at the space it should be,
Yeah.
and you don't see it.
See, Wally knows what this is. Evrard doesn't.
Well, you might if you want to make, like, an Arcana check or a
I'm
History
going
check.
to make an Arcana check. Exactly.
Yeah, go for it. You've been around.
Yes. It's not stupid high, but hopefully, who knows at this level. 14 on Arcana.
14? Alright, what do you think it is?
It's imps can turn invisible, right? Normally, devils have familiars that they assign to keep track of some of their victims. So
Yeah.
this-
It sounds to me like Evrard doesn't need a roll
okay.
for this.
Ooh.
It sounds like, something like, I think sometimes, like, this happens with Insight a lot. Like, players will be like, oh, should I be suspicious? I'll roll Insight. It's like, well, if the player's suspicious, your character's allowed to be suspicious. The Insight will just give you confirmation. But,
Okay.
When you have theories, go with them.
Okay.
So it sounds to me like, on a 14 is not crazy high, but it sounds to me like you don't necessarily feel like you need to know for certain. You have Evrard at least has a theory.
Yes. So from stealth, I will knock an arrow in my short bow, and I guess try to pin down this invisible creature.
Okay, so you have disadvantage because he's invisible, but you have advantage because you're hidden. I assume
Mutual
you're aiming not to
invisibility.
kill. Technically, non-lethal damage has to be done by a melee attack, but I don't care about that. You can use a bow if you want to try to deal non-lethal. You want to try to pin it.
Sorry, just to
Go
even
ahead.
remind this, Like, how close is that to us? Like, is it in the room with us, or is it, like, down the hallway behind her?
For Evrard knows it's in the hallway behind her. She's standing in the door still, and it's in the hallway behind her. This arrow is about to fly past a bunch of you, unbeknownst to any of you.
It's okay. I'm a good shot.
All right, go ahead and roll straight.
This is natural 18 plus 4. 22.
That will 100% hit. Go ahead and roll me damage.
Okay. This says longbow, but this should be a short bow because he can't use a longbow because he's too small.
So I think that's 1d6 plus your...
Yes, 1d6 plus dex. So 4. I rolled minimum, total of 5 damage.
5 damage? All right. Let's go ahead and make a concentration.
No, 2. Sorry, it's a total of 3 damage.
3 damage? Okay. Let's go ahead and make a concentration check. Only has a +1 to this. Rolls a natural 2. So with only 3 damage, you definitely do not kill it. But you guys watch as from behind a curtain, as Rel is beginning to like freak out a little bit, like getting close. An arrow shoots past, tags the back wall. But as it does, there's a flash, and an imp that was holding on to the back wall, invisibly following Rel, turns visible as its concentration is broken. That's surprise round, so I assume that we're going to go into initiative now, if everyone wants that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Okay, I do have a
me,
map,
ma'am.
but this, I'm going to show you guys the map, but I'm not going to worry about putting tokens on, because the room is very small, and I have a suspicion, unless this creature goes first, that this is going to be over fast. But there's the possibility he does go first. So everyone go ahead and give me your initiatives.
Ugh. 2.
17.
Okay.
13.
It's 15.
15. All right. So the order is Sophia, Wally, Noir, and then the imp, and all the way down to the bottom, Red. So, this thing has a total of 7 hit points left, and there's 3 of you going. So, Sophia, what would you like to do with this imp?
The goal is to not kill it so we can talk to it, I assume.
That would be my vote.
That's up to you guys.
Okay. 7 hit points. Just checking all my rogue features for the first time ever. I guess I'll walk over to the imp, saunter, really, and smack it with the back of one of my daggers in an attempt to knock it out, but not kill it.
Okay. So do you, is this going to be are you trying to sneak attack this, in which case you need to hide or something and, like, get him, or are you just, like, running up and smacking? Overkill damage isn't going to kill it, so you don't need to worry about that.
I mean, if I can get sneak attack, if I can bonus action hide.
You'll have to hide. You'll have to hide beforehand successfully, but yeah, you can absolutely try that.
Let me try and hide.
You're 2nd level rogue, so you have cunning action, right?
Yep. Also, I have a cloak of elven kind, so I have advantage on stealth checks.
Ooh, yes, you do. All right, go ahead.
That's good. 16 plus my stealth of 3 brings me to 19 total.
Definitely hidden. All right, go ahead and make your attack roll at advantage. He's now visible. So you come in, you see the arrow go, and used to having to act quickly, you, as a rogue, you're pretty light on your feet. Spring up, come to the corner of the door, catch in a mirror exactly where the imp is and see it, and then just from behind with the dagger around the corner try to get it. Go ahead and roll to attack with advantage.
It's a natty 20.
Oh my goodness.
How do you want to take this
The
thing
imp and
out?
the
I think that
terrible,
even
horrible
minimum
that we did
damage
that
on a
day.
crit with your sneak attack is about to do this thing in. So,
Yeah.
how do you want to bring it down?
Pretty much exactly as you described. And in the moment that she smacks the imp, Ingrid's like, "It's curtains, darling," and just back.
You can't use that one this early.
Yeah!
Now,
All right.
where were we in our conversation?
The imp goes down and like hits the ground, kind of like scrambles back against the wall
Just
a little
like
bit.
put a heeled boot on its like tail or whatever. Just like no.
If we're out of
Yeah, it
initiative,
tries to
I
like
would
run
love to
away.
go
You're just
over
holding the
and
tail
pick
with
it
your
up.
boot. You turn to Rel, and she's just kind of astonished. Like this was she's clearly experienced, but this was still a very fast sequence of events that she witnessed.
Like I said, we're professionals, and if you'd allow us, we'd love to provide our aid. We support
Are we-
single
as-
mothers.
Are we
As
out of
you say
initiative?
that, Evrard
Yes, we
steps
are.
out of the shadows.
Okay.
Out of the shadows, puts his short bow away, pulls out the flower that he plucked earlier in the day, and hands it to Rel. Says, "We are at your service, madame."
Make a
Oobtaglor
riz
will
check.
also come out of hiding.
Okay.
Make
I feel
make a
like-
persuasion check.
Can that be with advantage? Because it
Persuasion?
feels like it should be with advantage.
All right, roll with advantage.
Yeah.
I'll wingman
Okay.
our
You guys
boy
have
if
been
you
great.
want the advantage.
You guys have been pretty
I do
helpful.
have-
I think that's fair.
I'm talking about.
Are you the
pure-
class that rolls charisma checks? You're the class that rolls charisma checks with wisdom, right?
I get to add my wisdom to my charisma checks.
Wow.
Oh, even better.
Or is it
Swanky.
the other way? It might be the other way around. I get to add my.
No, you
doesn't
get to add
matter.
your
I have
wisdom
a
because you're a
plus
ranger.
8
You get to add your wisdom to
Yes.
charisma checks.
Yes. Either way, I had
You're
a plus 8 to
endearing.
this. I rolled a natural 19. That's a total of 27.
Nice.
She
God
has
damn.
a little bit. She fully breaks here. She accepts the flower, and then she gives you a hug.
Oh.
And she just kind of starts explaining, like, she starts saying stuff like, "I've been so desperate. Like, I've been up all night. This is it's so last minute. I came home, and the contract was here. He was gone. And she goes on to explain that whoever the holder of the contract, Savaria, whoever it is, has been sending a different devil in his place to like meet with her, presumably because he doesn't want her to know where he is, and that they were like, okay, well, we've got your kid, and if you want, his soul to be, if you want the contract to be null and void, then we need a soul for it. And she did, and then when she went back with the soul, they were like, okay, we're gonna need one soul's not enough, we're gonna need 99 more, because that's how many your son's soul is worth, actually.
Yeah.
So, and then she came here and has been in like a kind of panic.
Bileyg would like to pick up the imp, little scruff of the neck. The imp's still conscious, right? Like,
The imp is still
Proud.
conscious, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it is
Bileyg-
narratively defeated.
All right. Would you allow me to roll an intimidate with advantage if I also channel divinity to turn the unholy when I do it?
Yeah, that sounds fucking rad as hell. I'd love for you to do
Thanks. Okay. All right.
that. Oh, that sounds
Please,
fucking
dice.
sick.
Please. Okay, yeah, that is a 22 intimidation. I'm just gonna
Alright.
get real close.
What do you say?
I strongly advise you to tell us where they're keeping the boy, if you'd like to remain on this plane for any longer length of time than the next few seconds.
So you rolled really high. So what I'm gonna give you a little thing that you would also know about feats, which is that just killing this dude, he'll just go back to his plane, back to hell, which is not ideal, but it's not necessarily the end of the world. So if you can give it a little more juice, then you'll get him to break. But just saying like I'll kill you is like probably better to die than to risk pissing off my boss. But
Well,
if you
turn
can
the
give him a
unholy
little bit
does,
more,
it forces him to make a wisdom
You know what?
save, and if he fails,
Okay.
he is terrified of me and tries to escape me constantly. So,
You know what? I will make that save, and if he fails, it doesn't even matter if your reasoning's good. Like, you guys just got
Okay.
his ass, and he's
Cool. The
scrambling.
DC is
So,
13.
Got your
what-
ass handed to you by
DC
an
is
old
13,
woman
and
in
it's a-
heels.
It's a whiz save, which he's not good at, and a 2 doesn't help.
Okay.
This imp, which is like a small bat, like exactly what you would imagine. He's got little bat wings, little red head. He's kind of rat looking, honestly. He's got kind of a snout. Imps all look different.
back to
where they
rats
come
again.
from.
Back to
Right.
rats.
So
Let's go.
I knew you guys would like that. He's got kind of like his rat kind of look about him. He's got like a bit of a pot belly, and he's got his face almost comes into like a little pointed snout. He's got like big jagged teeth that stick out the bottom. And you pick him up, you say that, like pin him up against a wall. It's hilarious because you're 3 feet tall and he's 1 foot tall.
he's
Yeah.
extra tiny weeny. He's pocket-sized for my convenience.
So, we put the camera low, it looks really intimidating, but from everyone else, this is very silly to look at.
This is short
you
king
pin him
on short
against the
king
wall.
violence.
And he goes, "Oh, I just work here.
The
You're looking
boy.
for Savario? You want to know what Savario is? I want to tell you what Savario is. You want to know where he is?
It's a good start.
Okay. Yeah. So he's up. He's holding up at Slaughterhouse Tavern, which is our resident bard who's played many places. You haven't played here, but you know this one. This is a bad place. You wouldn't play this place, but you know about it. It's in the Hive Ward, and it's like a fighting ring place.
Oh, yeah. A bit more.
You
they like
you
different entertainment than I usually provide.
Yeah, exactly. You see, he says he's at Slaughterhouse Tavern with his gang. They got the kid there. He keeps a pallet he's to watch from. He's basically there anytime he's not asleep. So you want to find him? That's the place to go.
You've been very helpful. Thanks.
Okay. What does that mean now? I'm still being held up against a wall.
Yeah, guys, do we want me to poof him? Because I can do that.
I think they've outlived their usefulness here.
Oh, sounds
Send him
fair
back
to
the
me.
Nine Hells.
Yep.
Okay, he's just gonna send it back to the Nine Hells.
Yeah.
Suppose we are.
I mean, he's at like 0 HP, right? Maybe I'll just headbutt him out of existence. That could be fun.
You get a Scott Pilgrim KO.
Yeah.
You guys have this little conversation quick. You're like, should I kill him? And he goes, no, wait, the commute. And then you, boom, headbutt him. He just vanishes from existence in smoke. And immediately you see Rel pulls out, opens up a pocket that was kind of hidden on her trousers, pulls out a big dagger to check it's there, slides it back in, wipes tear, and starts to walk out.
Slaughterhouse Tavern, I assume?
Lord's house it is. We should probably not
That's
let
the
our
place.
new charge get
Wait,
too far ahead.
can I grab Rel before she leaves?
Yeah, go for it.
Just a quick question. What did you end up doing with the items that were stolen from Professor? Because it doesn't seem very fair in order to, if we were to submit Rel as the culprit without having this thread tied up, but we still need to consider our last job ended or find some way to tie that up nicely. And so I think delivering the items that were stolen would be a decent ending.
It's not
So-
a bad thought.
What'd you do with them?
You guys have been pretty helpful to her in the last 3 minutes or so, so she won't put up a fight. You see she opens another pouch and withdraws the chime and the remaining 2 packets of dust. She hands them to you and says, that's all that's left. Tell anyone I did it, I don't care.
Out of curiosity, where were you going to go in order to get your 99 coins?
Well, it's where I did go to begin with. I've already stolen one. It's a little
enough.
hurt that you haven't put that together.
I don't know. You could have just had one.
I assume she stole it.
I'd say we
but,
should.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, well,
One thing at a time, I think.
we're going to go to that bar.
She turns,
and
she
figure it
goes, she says, what interest do you have in seeing this through? You got your stuff back. You got your culprit. Unless you're gonna wait for me to be done to bring me in somewhere.
It's not great for reviews if we let people's children get stolen by the hells and know about it. So, we'll go help you, and maybe afterwards you could leave a nice review for us on Fantasy Yelp.
We can't canonize
We can't
Fantasy
do
Yelp
that.
in episode 1.
Not canon.
It's Fantasy Yelp,
Fantasy. Ah!
Yeah, exactly. You get it. Bileyg gets it.
It's Castle.
right.
Fantasy. Oh no.
I mean,
Evrard
She does-
will turn to her and say, okay, Madam, we were merely tasked with getting the items back, and we have the items back. As far as I'm concerned, you didn't steal anything. We get your
Alright.
son back. You can go back to work. They get their magic items back. Everybody is happy.
for clarity, though, this does mean that you are hiring us in an official capacity, yes?
Oobtaglor.
Why else
She
would
shrugs.
you leave a review?
She goes, what's your rate?
Paid in full already. Let's go.
Not sure I trust someone who won't accept the jink.
I mean, if
You can pay Oobtaglor if you like, ma'am, but it's against my principles to to profit off of a child in need.
We can discuss rates later, but I suppose let's deal with this now. Before he leaves the slaughterhouse.
Yeah, resolving kidnappings we don't get paid in advance for.
With that,
We will get paid, though, I just want to make that clear.
with
To
that,
the slaughterhouse inn.
you head out. Down,
Man,
the
am I gonna
goblin,
have to
down,
be the
down.
fucking...
Bar.
Am I the one that's hounding for money this campaign
I
now?
don't want it to be me again, but I also would like to get paid.
You guys can.
We will
everyone
work
has
out
no
payment.
problem
I
with
realize
you
we
guys
didn't discuss at the
negotiating
beginning, but we will work out a payment method so that you guys get funds and can use that to upgrade whatever you may
That's
wish with
good,
your
because
money.
Bileyg
So
presently has 10
Get
gold to
a
his
second
name.
desk?
we will work it out following. Sometimes you forget a chore before an episode. Anyway, you guys leave the lower ward and cross into the high ward. You have to take a bridge over the ditch, which is the one body of water in Sigil. It stinks and is practically solid in some places. In the places where it's not, you certainly wouldn't want to touch it anyway. You make your way onto Lots Lane. You pass by the Gatehouse Night Market, which, as it's getting later in the day, the first dregs of Sigil are beginning to make themselves known here. And find yourself at a intimidating place. Outside, a Minotaur bouncer stands in front of the door to the Slaughterhouse Tavern. Inside, you can hear the faint cheers of a rowdy crowd.
Ingrid will very
What would you like to
confidently
do?
walk up and just start heading past the bouncer into the tavern with the confidence of someone who has entered 1,000 bars.
Yeah, Oobtaglor's following suit.
The Minotaur will put out an arm, and he says, "Who are you?"
I'm the entertainment. Who are you?
Make the deception check of your life.
Deception.
I mean, it's only a deception from a certain point of view.
It's a 21.
Yay!
21. All right, I'm gonna roll an advantage, but he's not like a high insight character. Those won't do it. He looks
with
up.
the band, by the
He
way.
looks you up and down and says, "Don't seem like much of a fighter."
There's a lot of ways to win a battle, darling. Come along. We've got things to do, drinks to drink, crowds to dazzle.
Is Rel still with us, by the way?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
She's
so we've
still
got like a couple intimidating looking people in the group.
yeah. He kind of looks. Being intimidating is nothing new. It's the people who aren't intimidating looking that he's suspicious of. Like he's looking at Ingrid. He's looking at Oobtaglor. Honestly, Evrard kind of cuts a frightening figure, even though he's kind of small. Bileyg, take it or leave it. But
Bileyg has a +5 to intimidation, and he's really
fair
pissed
enough,
right now.
Fair enough. He probably looks more like he belongs than some of the others. Rel definitely looks like she
Bileyg
might
is a
belong
little
here.
man in full plate armor. This guy lives
Yeah.
in Sigil. He knows we go for the kneecaps.
Haven't you ever heard that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover?
All right, he lets you in. No garnish necessary, which is what a cant for bribe. And you guys enter into a rowdy place. There's like what looks like a bar on one side, but for most of this building is taken up with a cage in the middle with just walls with a bunch of mats down, like animal skins down on the bottom, stained with blood. And there are overlooks. The entirety of this place is filled up with just so the imp described them as pallets. It's like scaffolding that goes up and down the building, so people like look down into the fighting pit. If you're standing on the ground floor, you have the bad seats.
Would you say that they're still within 60 feet of us, though?
The people
Like,
you're
is this
looking
place
for?
6 stories high? Or...
No, it's more like 4 stories high.
Okay, then I would like to use an action to cast Divine Sense for my second time. So I
Excellent.
can know
You
the
cast
location of
Divine
any
Sense.
celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
You cast Divine Sense, and your Divine Sense goes. This
Great.
place is just fucking
He's one
full
of those
devils.
guys. Okay.
Just full of devils. Devils all over the place. You see that there are people operating like dumbwaiters, like they haul up to bring you. There's no ladders or anything. They just bring you up and down. There are some ladders, but most of them are these like dumbwaiter elevator systems that people are like hauling people up and down to get into these onto these loft scaffolding. And it's really loud in here. There are currently 2. There's what looks like there's a. Just a big fuck off dude with like a helmet. You can't even fucking see his face. Just like all scarred up to shit. And there is a chimera in the ring, and they're just beating the shit out of each other right now. Blood is going everywhere. People are screaming and yelling.
Nice place.
Does there appear to be an orc child anywhere in the crowd?
Yeah, make a perception check.
God, not be the one doing perception.
I'd allow anyone to make a perception check. This is honestly. Sometimes I shouldn't have you guys make checks. I feel like you guys will be able to spot an orc child among the rest of this. You're right. A devil wouldn't stand out, but an orc child definitely would.
Bah, I gotta stop rolling things today.
All right. Did anyone hit a 15?
I just hit a 15.
Gotcha. As you walk in, you begin to survey, and you see that, not quite at the top, but near the top of one on the far side, like off kind of to the right, you're like 2 o'clock. You see that there's a high up pallet. There are a couple of imps hanging around. Sitting on the edge is a spined devil. It's kind of purple, like halfling-sized thing with wings. And there is a desk with a big red campion sitting behind it, and standing next to him an orc child.
I'll turn to Rel. I imagine that cambion is the safari and all that Sulfari that we're looking for.
Savario.
Savario.
She says, and that's Gren.
Well, alright then. I don't have any way to play this other than loud. Do you guys want to do this differently?
I think we should approach the cambion. It's just Ingrid's gonna kind of look at the buffer members of the crew. I have an idea of what might interest such a creature as would hang out in here for their entertainment, and may just be foolish enough to make a deal of sorts that we could benefit from, but I don't know that I'm the best option to go into the fighting pit, as it were. But my thought is we could offer to win a fight in order to free the child. This is something of a thing in books and whatnot. If anyone has any other plans, I'm open to them.
You're suggesting that a fight is worth 100 soul coins.
I think that they're inflating the value of a single soul into 100 soul coins, and if we were made to make an offer enticing enough, or at the very least, sell it as enticing enough, we may just be able to, trick our way into victory.
Mes amis, between the 4 of us, I think our souls are definitely worth 100 soul coins.
Oh, I don't think we should actually put anyone's souls on the line, but if we go up there and we say, oh, great Cambion, you look so bored. Hey, that's a neat child. What if we want to fight for it? And then, we win the fight and we get the child.
That's a neat child. You know how you talk about children?
Hey, buddy, you using that child or anything?
I'm not a motherly kind of person. I'm open to other ideas, but I just think we could really play off of, Cambions, and this one seems to have a penchant for gambling, so perhaps we could use that to our advantage.
I like the angle of gambling, but perhaps maybe we shouldn't offer what the stakes are, even though it might be to our favor. I don't know, you might sell it better than I can. or better than how you sold it just now, but I don't know if 100 soul coins is worth whatever we're offering.
I don't think we should.
I think if he sees Rel, he's gonna bolt.
Yeah, I don't think
So
we
maybe
should
we should play this smart.
bring up this 100 soul coins, because as far as he knows, we don't know about 100 soul coins which way or the other.
But he will get suspicious if we ask for the child.
I mean, if we walk up there, there's an orc child. I don't think it's completely out of left field.
I would say it's definitely going to be suspicious if you ask specifically for a child. You're like, hey, what about that child?
Okay, well, I'm
Not
not
that that
hearing any
necessarily needs
other
to be a deal breaker.
suggestions.
We could just be blunt and ask what he'll do to void the contract.
We could just be blunt and, void the contract ourselves.
I don't know.
I don't know
that
if killing the
him
devil will
would
void the
actually
contract
void the
is the
contract,
problem.
Yeah, because he'd just go back to the hells, and the contract would still exist. So kind of a moot thing.
He would go back to the hells and the contract would still exist, but you might be able to get the contract from him, in which case someone could still come into possession of it, but you would solve the problem for now and maybe for perpetuity.
She'd
Maybe I'm
have
not
control
explaining
of the contract, basically.
If she
and
could
someone
get,
would need to...
so so if you guys kill him and it's not in anyone else's name, and then you just kind of hide it away, who's to say who's going to, like, come into contact with it and, like, put their name down as the new signature, you know? It could get forgotten about.
I mean, I'm not opposed. I
But
think it'd
it
be
seems like
better-
Sophia also has an idea. So, whatever you guys would like to do, you let me know.
My idea starts and ends with, let's make a new deal. Maybe one of us is going to have to go in the fighting pit. So if anyone has a better plan, I'm open to it. This is just my skill set and what I bring to the table. And in this situation, it feels like he's a guy who'd be amenable to a little bit of deception. But I understand that he is a devil, so if there is guns blazing, tally-ho and all, we can always do that as well.
I'm disinclined to make any deals with him, if that's what you're suggesting. So.
No, I don't think we should genuinely make a deal, but,
I don't know how... I've never done such a thing. I don't know how you would disingenuously make a deal with a devil. It seems as though when the contract is made, the contract is made.
I mean, I have a contract with my agent Laurie, but that's never stopped me from hanging up the stone whenever he calls, so...
But again,
You don't have any children to kidnap, to my knowledge.
nor do I think
No
Laurie
disrespect.
is a devil.
That's what you think. I don't know, he's like a
All
gnome
right,
or
if nobody
something.
else has any bright ideas, I'm gonna start making my way for the scaffolding.
Why don't we walk up to him, and if it turns into a fight, it turns into a fight, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Okay.
I see.
Very well.
We shall.
Red, it looks like you want to just go up and punch him, and if that's what you want to do, I'll back you up on it, but I need us to go with
Bileyg
intent.
immensely wants to go up and punch this guy, but if we have a plan that isn't that, I'm amenable to it. This feels like it's a much longer plan with a much lower potential success rate. I don't know, this place looks like murders happen here every day. Like, is anyone gonna really notice if someone gets killed in one of the box seats?
No, I don't think anyone's going to care if we do a murder. I think it's just going to be more difficult than walking straight up the scaffolding to him. You know what I mean? Like he's going to see you coming. So if we want to do that, we probably shouldn't charge. It should be more of a...
I don't have a non-stealthy approach, so there's a few ways we can play this. Like, if you guys want to bring him down here so I can punch him, I don't care. I'm just saying, like, there's a limited
I'm
number of
getting a
things I
little
can
confused
contribute
about
to
what we're
this.
doing, actually. Sophia out of character. Like, I don't actually know what's going on right now.
We
I think
have
we're debating
to just
whether
go
to
up
do
him and
yours.
talk to him. At some point, we just have to approach him.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah,
know what
at some point we have to approach him. We can't just hang out down here.
Okay.
I imagine we're like by the bar, just like talking shit.
Yeah.
If you guys want to play this sneaky, Rel and I can stay down at the bar, because we shouldn't show him Rel anyway, because he'll probably
Yes.
bolt or freak out and immediately escalate the situation. And as mentioned, I don't have a stealthy approach, so...
I don't know that there's a, like... I get what you mean by, like, sneaky, but, like, I don't know that stealthy is going to come... Like, I don't know that I would want to leave Bileyg down by the bar just because, like, if we were walking up
Well-
and then we try to deceive him, that's one thing, but I don't know that, like, sneaking up on him is really going to work.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
think we
wouldn't
just
be able
walk
to
up
do
to
that
him.
anyway.
We can leave Rel down here. She'll be fine. right?
Yeah, I think they're just walking up to him. The matter is, like, when we're going up to him, if we're just, like, initiating combat immediately, or if we're going to try and deceive him, like
Yeah.
what Sophia's been saying.
Which, again, I have
All right.
half of an idea for deceiving him. So if people want to just run up and initiate combat, we can do that. I just want to know that we're all on the same page about it.
Well, combat's not going anywhere. It seems like we're all in agreement that step
Combat's
one
not
is
going
actually
anywhere.
approach the guy. So we can
Yeah, I
do
think-
that part and go from there.
I think, like you said, combat might happen. Combat might be the end goal regardless. So if we try and be deceptive in the middle of it, I don't think it's going to hurt anyone. So perhaps we should go with Ingrid's plan.
All right.
All right.
All right, you
Welcome up we
guys. All right, you guys go. You get on a dumbwaiter elevator. The really skinny like zombie that's holding it just jerkily hauls you guys up until you get to the one of the higher up, almost the top of the scaffolding here. You step off, and standing on the platform, you see, like I said, there's the imps hanging around. There's the spine devil. There's the boy Gren, and of course there is Savario sitting there at the desk. As you guys purposefully get off and kind of like, you're clearly here to see him based on where you were let off, because this is his kind of private box, so to speak. He leans back in his, like, it's not even a fancy business chair. Like, he's kind of putting on airs like he's like, almost like he's sitting in the penthouse of, or like, the top office of some big office building, instead of, the hastily tied together scaffolding in this decrepit fighting pit. But he leans back in his plain wooden chair and surveys you, and he says, "Well, what do we have here?"
Hello, my name is Ingrid Starling, and I'm not the usual entertainment for this venue, but I saw you sitting up here in this box, and my associates and I just simply had to come and say hello. It seems like you're the kind of person to talk to get the lay of the land around here.
Well, I do have a very good lay of the land. And gestures out to the view of the fighting pit, where a guy is currently getting just bashed by the goat head of a chimera over and over again. There's some cheers. Turns back, says, "But most folk who come to see me have a specific interest. I'm not the sort to play tout to the newcomers of Sigil. Speak what's on your mind." Touts, by the way, are tour guides. They're the people who help, like, people who just got to the city. So he's like, people don't usually come to me because they just want to, like, chat about stuff, like,
Yeah. Charming. You're the devil to talk to about contracts, is it right?
Lots of devils to talk to about lots of contracts. I'm one of the good ones to work with. What's on your mind? What's your heart's desire?
Well, we came across one in our line of work that we were interested in taking on, but it seems it's currently owned by you. Interested in perhaps transferring ownership, making some sort of a sale, as it were?
He looks over and he just puts it together immediately. He goes, "Ah, we're here for the boy's soul. Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the woman who no doubt hired you. Pure soul like this, worth 100 other souls. You get me that? We're square. Tell you what, one has already been paid in full, so 99 should do it."
Can I, like, look at the kid? Because he said pure soul, right?
Yeah, he's just implying that this kid is young and has done no evil, and thus the soul is worth more. Certain
but-
souls, like a paladin soul, is worth quite a bit, for example. And he's implying that the child's soul is worth a lot more.
You never, like, stolen a piece of candy or nothing, kid? Swiped an extra apple from the market.
The kid like looks at you and it like has no idea who you are. Did you told Rel to wait downstairs, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so he doesn't know anything about you. He just like looks scared and gives like a shake of the head.
Are you sure?
You gotta sell us something here, boy.
You see Savario kind of stands up now, and he says, unless I'm missing something here, not sure what good you would be judging the worth of a soul over a devil like myself. So, unless there's some other offer or some other arrangement you want to make, I believe I've named my price.
I have a shitty idea.
Do it, Noir. Do it.
Oh man!
Come on, man.
All right.
This is the time for
Maybe
him.
spitball it first.
No, just do it. Commit.
I'm
Big
gonna-
red button. Hit it.
Oh boy.
On your shoulder
gonna
are
go up to the boy.
two cast members, and one says do it, and the other says think about it.
I'm gonna go up to the boy. I'm gonna hand him one of my daggers and him say, "Stab me, stab me."
What?
Stabbing an innocent person in cold blood? That's super impure.
Oobtaglor.
You're going to dilute.
I can take it. I can take it.
I really appreciate the vibes, but
Come on, kid.
nah.
I don't. Oh my god, how to adjudicate a scenario where one of your players asks an NPC child to stab them
That's a persuasion
because
I was
check,
really hoping we
right?
could get out of this
expect
without
that it'll
scarring the
make
kid for life.
soul impure enough. I don't
Oobtaglor, I hate to
think
tell
it
you
counts
this.
if you were told by the person to stab them because you knew it wouldn't be a big deal.
I didn't stab her. Stab one of them.
kill Ingrid.
I'm just gonna look at Ingrid. Are we still on plan A or are we moving on?
Look, we don't have 100 soul coins, and quite frankly, I'm not here for the boy's soul, I'm here for the contract. Oobtaglor, you have the copy that we found?
Yes.
We're interested in maintaining ownership of this contract. Now, that is not the equivalent of 100 soul coins, that's a different matter entirely. What could we offer you that would entice you to trade for this contract? And the accoutrements that it entails.
That's a good question. Alright, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
This entire time, I'm still egging on the kid to stab one of us.
You've got to stop traumatizing this poor child.
It's a 24.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
24? Ooh, okay. 24 is good, and I want to honor that. The question is, what could you guys offer? Do as the players, do you have any suggestions?
I mean, there's always entertainment in the form of one of us, or
Yeah.
all of us going in the fighting pit and fighting like a chimera.
Yeah, the
or something.
spitballed idea is that we go and
Sure,
fight
there's a
in the
champion here.
ring.
Sure, there's a champion here. Bet on us. Keep the winnings.
Yes?
We get the contract.
Not a bad idea.
That's a good idea. I like that, Wally. Does anyone else have any ideas?
I
they
like
wanna put
Wally's
out?
idea, and I would like to second it.
No idea better than that one.
I have no perception of like how much a soul coin is worth. I fully did not believe that was going to work, so I'm for it.
You guys want to try that?
Yeah.
Ingrid has already put in word that they would be fighting, so there is already someone who's convinced that's happening.
Yes.
You see Savario kind of like scratches his chin, beckons over a spine devil, whispers something, the spine devil flies off. He goes, "There are wagers here. I could spin one soul coin." He pulls out the soul coin that was already earned into a higher yield. But the challenge would have to be pretty tight, and you would have to survive.
Well,
If you don't, I get to keep the contract.
if we don't survive, there's none of us to complain about it anyway, so it seems as fair a wager as any to me.
All right. Fair enough then. I've put in the word. They'll find you something suitable. Go talk to Varg downstairs.
Austin,
at
let
you,
us fight something in the fight pit. Austin,
situated.
let us fight something in the fight pit.
We could have fought something
All right.
outside of the fight
It's so
pit.
much
I'm
better
just
when
saying.
it's in the fight pit.
We'll take all of your challenges.
Well,
That's certainly
Oobtaglor,
worth it.
Oobtaglor, no. Oobtaglor, you
Wait.
don't speak for all of us in this
I
instance.
knew you'd have a fight pit map. I knew it.
Monsieur. S'il vous
Okay,
plaît.
so the good news is I have a fight pit map. The bad news is I didn't think you'd actually be in the fight pit, so I made the fight pit map mostly scaffolding. That being said, I think that will be suitable. So, you guys get ushered downstairs. There's just jagged metal and jagged wooden spikes that keep the fighters in. And Varg, who is the bouncer you talk to, the Minotaur, gets you set up and set in, and basically tells you, like, all right, he basically tells you, like, to the death, whichever side has something left standing. And then he gets a whisper from another devil that comes by. He gives a little chuckle, and he's like, okay, good luck. This is going to be quite the show. So, yeah, go ahead and drag yourselves in. I need to create a new token for this, because I did not anticipate this exact sequence of events. But that's okay.
You meant you were going to give us a fight pit, and you didn't think we were going to go fight something in the fight pit?
I mean, if I'd had my way.
Honestly, I thought it would be a nice backdrop. I just thought I kind of figured you'd fight the things that were directly being a pain for you. But
hey, there's still time.
Fight pit, fight pit, fight pit, fight
I'm gonna
pit.
take my dagger back from the boy. You're useless, kid.
All right.
What's crazy, Noir, is I also thought of the same idea, but I'm just like, no.
We were going at the same
Look, the
thing
problem
from
is
different angles, but I think it was just that we didn't have the kids' trust,
Well, no,
Yeah.
the problem is we're relying on the honesty of a devil who has already actively reneged on a legal contract.
That's true.
I don't know that
It's like, he can just be like, no, fuck you, it doesn't actually
So-
matter that the kid stabbed you, you seem like a jerk anyway.
A point of note is that Cambions are half fiends. So they're one step closer to devils than tieflings, but they are not, like, fully in the devil resurrection, like, multi-level marketing scheme pyramid thing, which gives them a certain amount of flexibility that full-on devils don't get.
Hey, where do they go when they die? Just curious, no reason.
I believe they also get smoked.
Huh.
Nah.
Actually,
That's
they might
fun.
die. Hold on.
Cambions
I'd
might
have to
actually
double
die.
check it.
As a
but-
special
Can
treat
they
just for me?
I mean, if he gets
Well,
involved
if we
in
knew
the
that,
fight.
Anyway.
this might have gone differently.
Fight
So,
pit.
you guys all enter the pit. This creature, it's a Yugoloth that looks like it looks like an alien. like full on, like, it's got like a bulbous green head, big black eyes, it's wearing a purple cloak. It's almost like see-through kind of Oobtaglor style, but it's solid. Walks in and puts fingers to its throat and magically amplifies its voice. And it says, "Patrons of the slaughterhouse, today we have a very special surprise. New challengers never before faced our many threats. Fresh blood to sate your appetite." You see, like, some imps are dragging off the dead dude who died to the Chimera before. He continues talking. He says, I'm sorry, is there something I should be calling you?
We are Ingrid Starling and the Open and Shut Cases Single Detectives Heroes for Hire, and we will be your entertainment this evening.
Ingrid
All
and
right,
Heroes.
we have some idiots here willing to die for your entertainment! Everyone cheers, stomping. You see one board
Hell yeah,
gives out
dead
and a
lord.
dude, like, falls through to the next platform somewhere.
Do I get any? Do I have any fans in the
Hey,
crowd? Do I get any woos of recognition?
Oh, you definitely, yeah, you go, "Hey, Greg, we
Tagore
love
gives a cheer for
you!"
you.
There is
Starlings.
a stomping, chanting, and the Yugoloth climbs out of the ring, motions, and says, "Do it!" And a door over on the wall over here opens up, cage bars go up, and you see first one leg, then two, 6 more as this enormous spider skitters out
Creepy.
into the ring. I am going to have everyone please roll me initiative against the war spider.
Yay.
Not the wall
fine.
spider.
Not the war spider.
God damn it.
Whew.
Let's see where.
Oh,
did
not
I
great.
put it
Bad.
in order?
Oh,
Oh, Bileyg.
It's a 2 down to 1, baby.
You have
That's
a
okay, I didn't
negative
really want to be
initiative?
here anyway.
How-
Maybe you'll take it out in the first round and I can just go and kill
How
that
do
guy
you
like
have
I
a
wanted to.
negative initiative?
I am not a dexterous man.
How low is your dex?
All right.
I also think I might
Bileyg is
get a
coming in at
penalty
a
for my
1.
Oh no.
Oobtaglor at a 15.
Yes.
Ingrid a 21.
Duh.
What'd you roll, Wally?
Evrard.
Oh,
at
11?
11. Yes.
Fantastic. And now the War Spider. Ooh. Here we go.
0.
That is an 11 as well. I believe, Evrard, though, you've got the advantage
15.
of dexterity.
Yes.
So, let's kick it off with Ingrid.
I would like to, after making myself as flashy as possible, use my bonus action to try and hide.
Okay, where would you like to hide in this big open fighting pit?
I think, because it's like dirt on the floor, like, I think I want to try and like kick up some dust and just sort of like smoke bomb
It's like
a little
animal
bit.
skins.
Yeah.
I
Ooh, you know
have
what?
bad news. I really don't. I try to be really flexible as a GM. I really don't think you can hide behind dirt in an open floor.
You said it's like animal skins?
Yeah, they're like matted down.
So spider vision isn't the same as us. If I like pick up a skin and like hold it in front, you know, to look more like the floor. I'm counting on the depth perception of a spider being meh.
They have 8 eyes.
Probably should have thought about all this
If
before
anything, their
you
depth
volunteered to
perception
get
should
into
have
the
been really
ring.
good.
I don't regret my actions because I think they're funny as hell. I mean, if I can't hide, I'll just do a regular attack, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you want to hold your action to attack to try to get sneak attack because of an ally within melee of it, you could do that. But I know I've tried to be flexible about it, but I really think that hiding behind a piece of cloth you're holding up strains the reason.
I will cast a vicious mockery on the spider instead. It's counting on it being able to hear me but not understand me. It has to succeed on a DC 12 Wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Here we go. That is a natural 18.
That will succeed and take no damage and not gain any disadvantages on anything.
Vicious Mockery doesn't do any half damage on a... Oh, it's a cantrip, right?
It's a cantrip.
Yeah.
Yep.
My mistake, sorry. Yep, you're right.
Can't just chip damage down forever.
Yes. Spider, I barely know her.
All right.
Oh, that wasn't a good one. And then I will use... I will stand where I am. I will continue to stand where I am for now. I'll do nothing.
Okay. All right, that brings us to Oobtaglor.
Okay. I think... Oh, man. Sure. I'll cast Shatter.
Ooh.
Okay, con
And
save.
10-foot radius sphere. I'm just gonna do it on the guy. It's a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, what's
Or
the DC?
3d8. 14.
He rolls... Constitution is a 15.
Dang. Can I silvery
So he's
barbs
going to take
that?
half of 3d8, I think.
Can I silvery barbs my own thing?
He rolled, so you can absolutely silvery barbs, yeah.
So
Also, I
No,
think
but
he
I'm
still
gonna
takes
spell
half
to him
damage
anyway.
for...
it might be you can't. It's too. That's a leveled spell though, right? So I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if Oobtaglor can silver.
No, it's a
barbs,
reaction.
but-
The
Yeah.
spell. The rule
Oh,
is
right.
not you can't cast 2 spells on your turn. It's if you cast a spell with one action.
Yeah.
If you cast a cantrip with 1 action, you cannot cast a leveled spell unless it's a bonus a spell with a cast to have a bonus action. If you cast a spell with a bonus action, you cannot cast a leveled spell except a cantrip. It's weird
You
and
couldn't
arcane.
Misty
But
Step
you can,
and Shatter.
You
but
can
could-
reaction silvery barbs.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Fuck it. Yeah, I'll do it then.
Okay. Gonna re-roll. Here we go. He needs
I'll give
lower than a
advantage
10.
to... Who's next? Evrard, I think? I'll give... Oh, yeah. Advantage to Evrard.
Yeah. A reminder that your rogues gain sneak attack with,
Yes,
when
I
they
was
have
thinking.
advantage.
Oh, yeah. Never
But
mind. I'll
it
give
is a
to-
long time before. It is a long time before she goes
Do
in.
what
so
you're
up to
going
you.
to do. I've got plans.
I'll give advantage.
I've
I'll
good-
give advantage to Ingrid. It's a good idea.
Okay. I have good news, which is that on the silvery barbs, he rolls a 1. So what do you do for your silvery barbs?
Oh, cool.
You want to go with the 1 and not the 11, right?
Now's the time, Noir. You gotta
Yes.
commit. You gotta commit
Okay.
to this bit that we've both been talking about.
I'm completely blanking. I'll probably just say something like, I'm gonna make it so that you don't have a leg to stand on, much less 8. Something like that.
Nice, very good.
Something like sounds like that is what you say.
and
All right,
then-
3d8 damage.
Yeah. Let me roll 3d8. Ooh, okay. 16. Thunder damage.
Okay. It does not resist
All
that
right.
or anything. Boom! There's a blast. Some splinters go up in the air, and almost it kind of sinks into as the floor gets broken. It almost sinks in a little bit under its weight, and it kind of skitters about from the blast.
Would you say that creates a dust cloud that Ingrid can hide in next round?
No,
Or a little crater or something.
Throws a bunch of the fabrics
it's
up so they're
flavor.
hanging like they're...
If you want terrain to hide behind, there are spells that do that.
Fair enough. And for my bonus action, I will inspire. So I'm going to target. I'll target Bileyg,
Nice.
and I'm going to take up my lute and start playing along and sing. Look, the enemy approaches. Yes, Bileyg, as you can see, but I'm confident you'll kill them with some help, of course, from me. Let my music motivate you. Let your weapons strike them true with the fury of your patron. Now, my good sir, after you, bring them down, do no wrong. So thus ends Oobtaglor's song.
Excellent. Very good. 10 out
Hell
of 10.
yes.
Bileyg
An
has been in like a
inspiration,
really
and
bad mood since
I
we
can't
got
do
in
this.
here. Bileyg is in a better mood now.
Hey.
I can't do this forever, but Noir, for the first one of the real campaign, go ahead and take an inspiration for your wonderful
Sure.
Les
Thank
Mis
you.
reference.
Very good.
They're all going to be musical references. You guys.
Yay!
Legally distinct musical
All
theater.
right. That brings us to Evrard. Lapin, what will you do?
Uh-huh.
That fan will kind of stretch his neck, pull up his sleeves, bring out his short bow. Because if we must engage in violence, violence we must. And bonus action, he will cast Zephyr Strike as his first sort of all stands up on end and then gently comes back down. Aim an arrow, and he will shoot this at advantage from Zephyr Strike.
Okay.
That will be 17 to hit.
17 will hit.
Okay. This is a D6 for the short bow, and then a D8 from Zephyr Strike. That's 2 4s and an additional 2, so that's a total of 10 piercing damage.
Okay.
And then I will use my movement to get onto one side to set up flanking for Bileyg.
Thank you.
And then I don't know if I have and then I'll switch over to my rapier, and that will be it.
Oh.
Okay. Then it will be the War Spider's turn. An arrow goes thump right into its big, hairy abdomen, and it lets out a shriek. As you, in a whirlwind, appear beside it, it is going to use Trample. So it's going to move up to its speed. It's going to go like this. Going to trample you. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35,
Ugh.
40. It's going to end just outside your space. It will step on you and then kind of step back, Ingrid. And it will make a bladed leg attack against every creature it ran over this turn, which is 3 of you. So, Evrard first. That is a 23 to hit.
Yeesh.
Bileyg, that is... Ooh, it's not very good on Bileyg. Does a 15 hit Bileyg?
Bileyg is untouched.
Okay, and
Missed me
then
by
against
3.
Ingrid, that is a 22 to hit Ingrid.
Yes, that will hit.
Oh, great. Just get her off the guy with the armor.
Okay. Yes, the blade scratches off your armor as you nimbly Samwise v. Shelob dart away from this leg. So, bladed leg coming at Evrard is 11 slashing damage.
Okay.
And the bladed leg that hits Ingrid is also 11 slashing damage.
Ouch.
All right. That ends its turn. Bileyg, it is now your turn.
Woo, what a nice shift. Okay, cool. Well,
That's on a
from
recharge, by the way.
Good. From one flanking to another. 5, 10,
Happy to oblige.
15, 20. Great. Okay. Yeah, I think... Oh, man. I only got one attack per action, I think. It's so weird.
Correct.
We're babies.
Oh, but I do have 2 weapon fighting, which does something.
If
Oh,
you
but
are
I don't
wielding
have a-
2 light weapons, so
No,
like
I
2
got
daggers
a
or...
shield.
Yeah.
Okay,
also-
fine. Okay, we're just gonna do a normal attack.
You do have advantage, though, because
At
you are
advantage, a
across
normal attack
from
at
Ingrid.
advantage. Alright, it's not the best roll, but it's also not terrible. With my longsword, that is an 18 to hit.
Oh, 18 definitely hits. You guys are
Yep.
too used to being level 14. 18 is a crazy high number to roll at level 3.
Yeah. Alright.
Like, this is a hard enemy for you guys, and that's 18 is still more than enough.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna activate my Divine Smite on this one. So I
Yes,
expend
you
a spell
are.
slot to
Alright.
deal 2d8 extra radiant damage plus 1d8 for each spell slot, blah, blah. Is this an undead or fiend?
No, it's neither.
Really?
It's a monstrosity.
Okay.
Actually, it's a
Just
beast.
two... Alright. Okay, so this is gonna be 3d8 total damage then.
Isn't it? I believe it's 1d8 plus the level of the spell. Am I right about that? Wally?
No,
I know
I
you
expend one
just-
spell slot to deal 2d8 extra radiant damage, and the base damage is 1d8. So I'm rolling 3d8 total. Says it right on my character sheet, man. When you hit
I
with a
know,
melee weapon
I-
attack, you can expend one spell slot to deal 2d8 extra radiant damage to the target, plus 1d8 for each spell level higher than
Well,
first.
for each spell level higher than first. You're casting it at first
So,
level,
yes.
right?
Start to the base too.
So
I'm
it's
only
2d8.
Yeah.
Plus the 1d8 of the base sword damage, my man.
Oh,
No.
I'm so sorry. I'm thinking
Yeah,
3d8 for the smite. My mistake.
Yeah.
You're
okay.
Sorry, audience
1d8
yelling at me.
longsword,
Red is right, and I
2d8
was
smite.
wrong. I misunderstood the whole
That's
time.
Well, it's only 10 damage total, so...
And you added your strength from...
Oh, no, it's 11 damage total.
Okay. So, add 11 damage to the score. Well, that's 1. Gotta add 10 more. Alright. Nice. What does it look like when you activate your Divine Smite?
Big flash of golden light. It's nothing too fancy. Maybe it's like one of those anime things where like the swing of the sword itself becomes visible. You know, nifty stuff like that.
Bileyg is a simple man.
Yep.
He's humble.
Bileyg is a
All
man
right.
on a mission,
Yep.
and he doesn't particularly like being on this mission, so the frills are off today.
Ingrid, it is your turn.
Yes, and because Bileyg is 5 feet within the enemy, I actually have sneak attack even without the advantage, but I am going to roll with the advantage on this attack because I want to guarantee that it hits.
Go for it.
Does a dirty 20 hit?
It absolutely does.
Great. That's going to be 1d6 for the... Hold on, make sure I'm not conflating my sneak attack and my bardic inspiration. Yes, 1d6 for the sneak attack, and 1d4 plus 3 for the dagger. 11 points of piercing damage. Ingrid will sort of like...
Fantastic.
almost like dancing with the little stab. And then I'm going
Nice.
to bonus action disengage and run away.
Oh, goody.
Run
Yeah, you
away
are.
as
All right, go
fast
for
as
it.
possible. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And I will hang out here. And that is my turn.
All right.
You've got this, Bileyg. It's so shiny.
Oobtaglor, it's your turn now.
Come on, Oobsy baby.
Okay. Bonus action, I will give inspiration to Evrard this time. I'm not singing again. I only have enough for like one per episode.
Merci, Mr. Oob.
And for my action, I will cast Fairy Fire. I should have done this to begin with, but I forgot I had it.
Oh,
Let's
very
go.
good. Really big.
Good shit. All right, here we go. Deck save. He's got a bit of a
Yes.
bonus, but not crazy. That is a natural 19, though.
No. Silvery barbs. Absolutely not.
I can't wait to put you guys against a caster. All right, here we go. Silvery Barbs, a re-roll. That is only a 5.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Poof. What does your fairy fire look like?
It just looks like
Put a little map berry
like a
there.
green flame that sort of envelops everything within a 20-foot cube. I think I can angle it so that Bileyg's not lit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, you could just place it behind.
I'm gonna give advantage
Yeah.
to Evrard, our
Okay, I have
Buddy,
Bardic
buddy.
and then,
Oh, do you have
yes.
Bardic or
I have Bardic.
take the advantage anyway?
Okay.
All right.
Great,
All weapon attacks against the creature. Is there attack rolls
Oh.
or weapon attacks? Whatever one it is, they're all going to have
Yep.
advantage.
Sneak attack for
tasty.
Ingrid
Any
every
attack roll.
time.
Yep.
Thank you, Oopsie.
And
Okay.
that's everything for me. I'm gonna stay where I am.
Yeah, you will. All right. That brings us to Evard.
All right, with rapier in hand,
Qu'est-ce que tu fais?
Lapin approaches the war spider, and we're gonna hit it.
All right. What are you swinging with?
Rapier,
Ah,
and that's a nat 20. It's a 7 and a nat
Nice.
20.
all right.
Ooh, okay, so that's a D8, right? D8,
Yeah.
and a D4. I keep forgetting he is
Get
a
his ass.
Fey Wanderer, so he has his dread strikes. So that's an additional D4.
Oh, Jesus, this is going to suck.
Yeah.
I should have bonus actioned Hunter's Mark to throw some damage on it, but that's fine. So
New character. Who
Baseline
dis?
yeah, baseline. This is what? This is 12. And then I'll roll damage. It's a 7 and a 4 on the D4 and the D8.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Jesus.
That's an 11.
So it's 11 plus 12?
23
Yeah.
total.
Yeah,
Plus
20.
my dex, which is an additional 5.
28?
Yeah.
Wait, you have a 20 dexterity?
No. I have dueling as my fighting style. So,
Oh. So you say 28 damage?
yes.
All right, that's absolutely devastating. This thing is still alive, but that was
Hell
crazy.
fucking yeah.
Please
Hell
narrate how that goes
yeah.
down, Wally, because that was crazy.
With the grace of the Fae, he sort of saunters up to this war spider, takes a brief moment to look it up and down, and says, there's the weak point, and just stabs.
Hell fucking yeah.
All right.
Beautiful.
We are back, baby. Wally is power gaming and it rips.
Let's go. Let's go. No multi-class this time around, so
Not yet.
I'm full ranger. Let's go.
All right, that brings us to
Hell
the war
yeah.
spider.
All right, let's go.
I will say though,
think
I am
the
only
war
at
spider
5 hit
intelligence
points,
is
though.
minus 4, so it is just going to lash out at the thing that did a ton of damage. Oh wait, no. Let's see if it rolls a 6, it'll recharge trample, which it will trample if it can. Otherwise, it's gonna lash out at our boy.
Not our boy.
I don't like that Austin's laughing. I think I got his trample
Oh,
back.
That's a
no.
recharge.
Oh, boy.
That's
all
a
right,
recharge.
all right. He's getting out of
Although,
your
you
system,
know
you
what?
monster.
Noteworthy though is it is not immune to opportunity attacks. That was a thing that we missed in the first round.
Oh, I was wondering about that. When it's just yeeting its way through, yeah.
Yep, it does not, okay, though, a point of order, a creature hit by this attack can't take reactions until the start of their next turn. So
Well,
if
there
it
you
does hit you, you cannot opportunity attack it as it leaves. So, it's gonna trample, it's gonna go 5,
take out 2 out
10,
of 3
15,
of us
20,
right now.
25, 30,
Yeah.
35, 40. It's gonna retreat all the way to the corner, and I will make 3 attacks. First against Bileyg, then against Evrard, and finally against Ingrid. And if they hit, you cannot take your reaction to attack of opportunity. So against Bileyg first. That's a natural 1, so Beleyg's definitely gonna get to hit. Well, gonna get to try to hit. Against Evrard, come on, it's the one that it needs. That is a 23 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, sorry, Austin, I have one question. Is Evard within 5 feet of me or within 10 feet of me? Does 5 feet mean proximate?
He's within 10 feet.
Okay, so I can't
5 feet
use
is
my
5
shield
feet is
reaction.
directly adjacent.
I thought it might be, yeah. I wasn't sure about how the numbers worked out, but...
That's good to know going forward, though. Something to consider with positioning. All right, and the final attack against Ingrid, that is going to be a 16 to hit Ingrid.
That will hit Ingrid. My AC is 14.
No.
Okay. So, Bileyg, the first thing that happens... Actually, the first thing that happens is, as it goes through, it will hit and deal damage to Evrard. That's the first thing that's going to happen. So, Evrard will do damage to you first.
Oh, because it's not out of my threatened area yet.
10 slashing damage.
Ooh.
Down I
Against
go.
Evrard.
Evrard, no.
It is going to trample away from you, at which point you get to make your opportunity attack before Ingrid's turn. Before
Right,
Ingrid
I have a
takes
question
damage,
about that. Is Fairy Fire still up?
Yes.
Fairy Fire is still
so
up.
this is at advantage.
This is at advantage.
Okay, that is a dirty 20.
Yeah, that'll definitely hit.
And I am going to use second Divine Smite, so that's another 3d8 plus
As
1
you
damage
should.
total.
Additional 3d8, as you said, yes.
Total 3d8.
Get his ass.
Okay, that is 18 damage.
18 is very hefty. Okay, hold on, let me do a quick... I'm counting up here instead of down, which I usually do when I have time to make the tokens in advance.
I'm sorry. I thought it'd be fun to go
There
in
is
the
a-
fight pit. How could I have known you wouldn't want us
you
to
guys
go
are
in the
doing
fight
awesome.
pit?
There is a
No, this is fine.
There is a devastating strike against the back leg as it begins to hobble. It does not go down, but it is really close. It could not take another one of those.
Okay.
Then it will make its final damage roll against Ingrid. Ingrid, how many hit points do you have left?
11, which is how much damage it did to me last time.
All right. 11 is average, so you got a 50-50 on if it's going to deal 11 or not to you.
I'm just an old woman.
That is
I tell you,
that is
Oobtaglor.
14 points of slashing damage.
Great, Ingrid's down.
2 people down. Let's go.
I swoon.
If it was an easy fight, it wouldn't be worth 100 soul coins. It's probably not worth 100 soul coins, but it's worth a lot. All right. Boom. On one attack, this thing is bloody, limping, fully missing a leg, but it manages to take out 2 of your allies, Bileyg. It is now your turn. What would you like to do?
Okay. I'm right up on Evrard, so I'm gonna...
You've seen me come back from worse.
I
think
have.
you should
this...
That's
Down
true.
the
You
spine.
do know that Evrard is good at this.
Okay.
I've never done
And I know who's not good at this.
Hello. I'm.
Yeah, okay.
I just assumed I'd die of old age. I didn't think that was crazy.
Alrighty. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Oh, you're so lucky. That's the limit of my movement. Alright, I'm gonna use Lay on Hands as my action. You're gonna pop up again with... Oh, how many of these 15 hit points should I give you? 10. You get 10.
Oh, thanks.
I need to keep some in case of emergencies.
Of course. Thank you.
Alright, that's my action. I don't have a... Ooh, actually. There are spells I can cast as bonus actions. That's kind of fun. I've never
There
really done
are
this
spells.
before.
If you still have slots, you could cast a...
But it would be... I have 1 slot left, so it would be really useful to have another Divine Smite in there, because this thing is annoyingly hefty.
It would.
Okay.
Decisions.
No, I'm just gonna...
decisions.
I'm within 5 feet. I'm just gonna ready my shield and basically be ready to impose disadvantage if that spider tries anything else like that again.
Okay, yeah, that's a great use of
Yeah.
of your turn. All right, that brings us to Ingrid. Ingrid, you come back up, really just temporarily dazed.
Just a flash
10
wound.
hit points. Bileyg standing over you. What would you like to do? You are prone.
At least we're giving him a show,
but-
right?
Always, darling. I'd stand up from prone, and then because he is still fairy fired, I still have advantage, and therefore I still have sneak attack. So I'm just going to take literally 1 step forward and stab, stab, stab once again.
Okay, stab, stab, stab.
a natural 20.
Woohoo!
I don't know
go.
if this guy's making it out of this turn, folks.
Yeah.
So
All
that's
right,
a
go
D4.
ahead and roll
Does that
your
also
damage.
double the sneak attack?
It does.
It's
right?
yes. All the dice get that maximum. You guys are lucky I didn't roll a crit for this dude, because imagine those crit numbers.
Yeah, that would have not
So
been
that's
fun.
13 plus
Fun for me.
23 points of stabbing damage.
23 points of stabbing damage? Hold on. With an overkill of 5 hit points, bringing it to a total of 117. Finish the spider.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up to the Cambion. I promised you a show, didn't I? And then right into the point where like the spider's head meets the rest of the insectoid body.
With a dexterity betraying that your age may be deceiving, you stab right up in there. Blood sprays out, venom sprays out, and the thing does that classic spider wobble, and then onto its back, legs curl.
Picturing the Skyrim spider
people
animation.
Boo, people cheer. There was this. This was a crazy fight. It was very short, but this was like a big fight with these bunch of nobodies. So they were kind of. Most people were kind of hoping you would get got. Some people are just super happy there was a twist. But undeniably, you are winners.
I'm gonna go get
And
Evrard.
with
Yeah,
that-
can we should get our boy, right?
Okay.
Evrard, do you wanna roll a quick death save quick?
Yeah.
Evrard, for me.
Well, we'll do
because
a quick death save on my turn.
that does happen before Bileyg gets his next turn.
Yeah.
That's 18. So
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
I am up with 1 hit point.
Yep.
So
You
Bileyg's
guys
like
watch
about
as-
to go, and then just sees Evrard kind of do the little like thumbs up, and it's like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
What happens specifically?
Shrugs off a terrible blow, but Evrard just kind of stands up, pops up as he always does, and yeah. With that, you are escorted out. What was his name? So terrible with names. Varg is kind of waiting there. Varg, the Minotaur, was kind of waiting there to watch, but also if you guys tried to escape, to like push you back in with a stick, basically. But
Great
he
venue.
kind of gives like a nod, and the Yugoloth who introduced you hands a card to you, Ingrid, in case you ever want to come back. It says on one side it says Slaughterhouse Tavern, and on the back it says Rule of 3.
Rule
Huh.
of 3.
So you could put
All right.
like
I'm putting that in my inventory.
It's not invite. What's the right word I'm looking for? It's like a like calling card for the Slaughterhouse Tavern in your inventory if you'd like.
We can put that on
All
the corkboard
right.
back
Bring
in
on the
office.
next one. We got this.
Oopsie, oopsie, baby. Maybe not so zealous, yes?
Oopsie baby is hilarious. All right. Fantastic. You
Yeah,
guys
before we head
are
up to see a
make-
Cambion again, I'm gonna like make eye contact with Rel wherever she is, see where she's at and what she's, get the
she's
vibe
been
check.
freaking out the whole time.
Great, amazing. I feel
And
so good
so
about
she
this.
sees you. You see, there's a breath of relief though, and she looks at you and gives like a nod as if to say like good news. Obviously, you're still alive is good news, but
Yeah, I give her a reaffirming nod, and we're gonna go up and hopefully just get the kid in the contract and not have to kill any more people today. Although, it's a big hopefully.
Ingrid will
So-
very confidently walk up to the Cambion and be like, well, I certainly hope you consider that a return on investment.
you see that there is there's a this devil called a Nuparibo, which is like this giant pink blob. I'm trying to think what it looks like. It's like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was melting and had a lot of
Excellent.
flab.
Very good.
It's just this like big wandering thing of like blubber, and it stinks. But it's doling out coins to. He clearly placed a bet of some kind, and he's getting a big payout. It's not quite 100, but he chuckles. He turns to you as you all clamber back up, bloody and fucked up. He
Hey,
goes,
I'm fine. They didn't hit me once.
Everard actually looks a little dusted, but you
It's
see him
just
like,
me.
place his arm back into his socket, unroll his sleeves, and all right.
And Ingrid looks
done.
terrible. She's the Ingrid looks awful.
Ingrid looks terrible, but you know what? She puts on a good show of it.
Oh yeah, I've straightened
Yeah.
my hair
He,
back.
Ingrid's
of
got that
course,
Lady
yeah.
Macbeth energy
Yeah.
that really is
Absolutely
working.
fabulous.
Yes.
He chuckles and starts like counting his coins, and he says, "Well, it's not quite 100, but we always knew that was a long shot of them ever paying it out. So, a deal's a deal." He stands up to shake hands with, and he's just waiting for one of you to step forward to confirm the deal.
Can I insight check?
Yeah,
I'm not
this?
touching him.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Oobtaglor? All right.
Yeah.
Oobtaglor, you go forward, shake
Noir will
hands.
do it, sure.
As you do, you extend, just from your body, extends an arm that wasn't there a moment ago. You shake
Yeah,
hands.
I'm not like...
And
It's still like the humanoid figure, but there's like one of my... I'll pseudopod
Yes.
it's a tentacle out of my body.
Yes.
fantastic. You watch as he shakes your hand, and then he presents you the contract, and where the contract had Savario written, Oobtaglor Burr appears on every line where it was. You are now in possession of this contract, which means that you can keep it or you can choose to dissolve it.
Oop.
Okay, cool.
Oobtaglor, I believe we were going to dissolve that contract.
How about we deal with
I mean,
that
he can choose not to collect on it, but, you know.
after we're out of the immediate
It's up
presence
to Oobtaglor.
Yeah. I guess I'm saying this
suggest
as
we
we're
take the
walking
kid-
away with the kid.
Yeah.
presumably
Yeah,
from-
we
of
would-
with the
yeah.
kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we started heading out.
The kid is good to
Yeah.
go.
It's nice to have some sort of contingency for payment.
I worry that possessing a contract that owns one's son's soul might veer a bit more into the mafioso side of the business, and we tend to be more on the investigative. So perhaps it just wouldn't be good for our image, you know? You know, image is everything, Oobtaglor.
Well, fine. I'll go ahead and I'll just put it in my person and let it dissolve itself.
But Bileyg is doing like the quick like rundown of like, is the kid injured anywhere? Scrape knees.
The kid is totally unharmed. The threat
Okay.
of claiming his soul was what was the leverage that was pressed on Rel in order to do this whole thing.
Right.
So
All
the
right,
kid
in that
is
case,
unharmed.
Bileyg is just talking nonstop about like, I got a daughter, she's a few years older than you, but oh, great kid, absolutely talented.
This kid's like
I-
10.
Yeah, well, she'll always be
Oh,
my
you just
little
mean
girl
like
to me.
I'm a parent too kind of way. I thought you were like,
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
a daughter. If you're
No, I'm
Oh.
commiserating with the child and from the perspective of like, no, your mom's a terrific lady, I can't imagine what
I
she's
get
been
it.
going through, but she's really excited to get you back, I tell you that, I mean, you don't need me to tell you what a terrific lady your mom is.
outside of the tavern, family is reunited, and Oobtaglor, you decide. I mean, like, listen, you can lie about it if you want, but if you decide to dissolve the contract,
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna waggle the contract in front of her. So about that payment, I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you, and I'll just rip it up in front of her.
as you go to rip it up, like, you consciously make the decision to dissolve it, and it just goes
Yeah.
in hellfire and ceases to exist.
But seriously, about that payment though.
Or our app review, you
Uh,
know?
It can't be the bit that we commit to.
I've committed to it. It's
She
too late.
reaches
It's out
in and pulls out a diamond, and places it in Oobtaglor's hand, and she goes, "I might have taken a little something more when I was stealing the soul ring before."
there. It'll be our secret.
That
But I'd be
devil
happy
was
to
a
be
chump.
rid of
Just
it.
This is
bubbling.
way more worth than 100 souls.
Depends who you are, I guess. Thank
Yeah.
you for your help, though. I confess, when you were in my apartment, I thought the worst.
Oh,
I thought the worst
sorry we
for
scared you,
about
ma'am.
15 hours now, so.
We're glad to see you reunited, and should you have any issues in the future that need a heavy or light hand, just pop on by to the Alley of Dangerous Angles and stop by the door of Open and Shut Cases, Single Detectives, Heroes for Hire.
I would also maybe keep your head low, maybe for the time being. You're clearly skilled in what you do, and I don't know if you, applied to work at the academy for such a purpose, or perhaps took up a job you left behind, but
I got out of that game a long time ago. Back in the days where I
Okay.
was signing contracts foolishly. Speaking of, what are you going to tell the Institute?
Well,
Should I
we
be on the
have
lookout?
their property.
Yeah.
I see.
We found what they were looking for.
Yeah.
There's no need to say anymore.
no reason to
You
bring
can
up.
go back to work. You can.
You don't think they'll ask?
Well, you called out sick, didn't you? You simply were out ill. We went to your apartment and found that you were indeed laid up in bed, under the weather, and rather distressed about missing work and many, many things related to being ill. You know, kids pick up colds and whatnot. I don't think it's that unbelievable that you really were sick.
And then who are you going to tell them about where you found the stuff?
Stashed in a trash can somewhere in the market ward outside of a particularly valuable-looking jewelry stall. Who knows what
Possibly in the
steal.
incredibly sketchy bar we just very publicly
that's
made a
true.
spectacle of
That's
ourselves
true.
in
We
for
also
the
had
afternoon.
That, yeah.
Fell off the back of a giant spider. Yeah, it's Sigil. You know, stranger things happen every day. Cycle? Every peak?
They call them days still.
All right.
Okay, yeah. Good.
That's nonsensical, but I'll accept it.
I don't think the academic types will
It's
care
all
too much as
nonsense.
long as they get their good experiments back, you know?
Yeah.
Then I think I owe you quite a bit. I left a life behind, but if you ever do need anything, I owe you more than a life. I owe you
Aw.
two.
Oh.
Well, don't you worry yourself about that, ma'am. And again, if there's anything you ever need from us, you know where to find us.
Open and shut cases, single detectives, heroes for hire.
Our
We're
code.
actually not very far from where you live. So,
It's actually
Hey,
3
that
blocks.
is
It's a
convenient.
small plane.
Yeah.
if ever you wanted to come over for coffee, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I've really gotten the hang of this stuff. The water in this place, pretty weird, but I'm starting to find a way to make the flavor profile actually kind of, you know, work for it instead of against the beans. It's a real process, I tell you.
And with that, unless there's anything else that you would like to personally attend to, I assume you button up with the case. Indeed, Araminta is more interested in getting the stuff back and is trustworthy of you for having succeeded, will buy whatever store you decide to sell on where it ended up. Just assumes that a master thief took it, as you said.
Yeah.
And you're able to sell, you know, they were already skeptical that it was Rel because she's so mild-mannered. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you
Can't
choose, you're able
possibly
to
be
sell
her.
with ease that it is not Rel. And anyone who might be suspicious is not so suspicious as to try to prove you wrong.
Out of curiosity, does this improve Glossary's relationship with Oobtaglor at all?
That's a great question. Oobtaglor, go ahead and roll me a charisma check, and I'll let you do it with advantage.
Hell yeah.
Ooh.
Come on, Oopsie baby.
I'd like to just raw charisma, not persuasion, and you're trying to hit a 17.
Come on, Oobtaglor.
I think I do it with a 13 plus 4, yeah.
Wow,
There we
just
go.
barely hit it. All right, what do you say to sweeten this relationship, if only a bit? What do you say on your way out after you guys have returned everything to Araminta? Glossary and Araminta are currently like picking up what's left, picking up what still isn't quite in place in the workshop. Do you have any final words to say?
I am certainly glad that you are able to continue your research as per usual, Glossary. And I'm certainly glad that you availed of our services as well. I hope that the efficacy of our job that we had done is enough to call on our services once more, should you ever ask for them. Maybe just, like, trying not to, like, be all braggadocio and, like, talk more about, like, the services that we are providing rather than, like, me.
You see, she turns to you, the eyes dilate, and she does the mimicry. Call on our services once again. And she gives a little smile and thumbs up.
It's a
As
very
if to
neat
say,
body
yeah,
trick.
maybe one day.
To be clear, though, I absolutely did everything, though. I just want to make that clear, at least between you and me.
Get out.
Yep.
Behind Oobtaglor,
Farewell.
like under their arm, Bileyg just kind of looks over and is like,
Ingrid just like fully has like a black eye.
the amusing contrast here, because I feel like Oobtaglor also didn't get hit once, right? Because
But
everyone
Nope.
Oobtaglor did
yeah.
the incredibly
No.
clutch fairy fire, so
Yeah.
to be fair.
Yes.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm rolling at advantage everywhere. But like Oobtaglor is untouched. Bileyg is possibly shinier than before. And then there's just like our two, like our poor Herringun and our elf are just like nearly dead.
Honestly, Haragon looks
they will
okay
see.
at this point. It's just the elf that's like looking terrible.
Sometimes the 499 shows more than you think it's going to. You can't be flawless
They will
every
sing
day.
the praises
After a
of
good
Oobtaglor
4
to
hours
Tagore.
of trance, she'll be good again. You know?
Yeah.
The sign of a
full
good
night's
actress
trance.
is that I can make this look good too.
Yes, I posed perfectly for my death. I was lying down as though lounging on a large, what's the word for those like long things that Juliet always faints onto? What's the?
Fainting
No,
couch. I
no.
believe.
It's like a chaise lounge,
Chemise?
like a chaise lounge, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Chaise lounge.
Oh,
Chaise lounge?
yeah, no, it was very
Chaise
artful. I
lounge.
almost
I
felt
don't
bad
know.
getting you back up 6 seconds later, but no, you really sold it.
Thank
It was
you.
very impressive.
It's artistry.
Dramatically, every time she gets knocked unconscious, it's a dramatic faint.
Yeah,
Yes.
like some of us ragdoll, but she's got like a custom animation for specifically when she passes out. Just like,
Every single movement Ingrid does is akin
damn
to
spot.
a woman in a black and white movie when they were still in the silent era, you know?
yeah, pizza push.
Fantastic. All right, so with nothing else to add, I think we're going to go ahead and close our first real adventure for Campaign 2. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Again, if you're joining us for Campaign 2 from Campaign 1, I hope that this lives up to your expectations. And if you're joining us for the very first time, I said we were going to be weird. I warned you up front. So, I don't know what else you wanted from us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Anyway,
this is
thank you
good.
for joining. And don't wait for that plug pin.
Don't wait.
It's gonna go.
Get a weird
It's
little
gonna
dude
be
of your
gone.
own.
It's true. Yeah.
Get it
If
right.
this
We'll
plug
wait.
pin
We'll
does
wait.
well, we could get rat pins, guys.
Sure.
So
Get
you
some
could be a part
rats.
of helping us get the most rats. But no, thank you.
Wait,
Check out the links to
We
the
are keeping the whole rat
Yes, we're
stuff
keeping
from
the rat
Oop-
stuff in. It's staying in. It's locked in.
Yeah.
Oh my
No, but
goodness.
thank you
We're
guys
gonna
so much
find a way to become
for
friends with that rat king.
check out the link in the description if you want to get a plug pin of your own. It'll be live until the 22nd. Thank you for joining us on this adventure, and we'll be back next week with another case to solve, crime to crack, as it were.
Hey.
All right. Ciao.
All right.
Adios.
Bye, everybody.
Catch y'all later.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode in Open and Shut, a Rolling with Difficulty campaign. We'll be back next week with another thrilling adventure and mysterious mystery. Can I say that twice? But if you miss us before then, you can head on over to the Rolling with Difficulty Discord to have amazing conversations with super cool fans, check out some fan art, talk about this campaign and our previous one, all the one-shots, lots of fun stuff in that community over there. And if you'd like to support the show, we do have a couple ways for you to do that. You can check out our merch store on Redbubble or the currently running Plug Pin Extravaganza, assuming this is one of the first couple episodes. If you'd like to, please rate us and leave a review on your preferred podcast platform or like us on YouTube. And if you really want to support the podcast, you want access to exclusive bonus content, head on over to Patreon, where we post monthly pieces of bonus material from all the members of the cast. It's a great way to directly support the show, and we really, really appreciate everyone over there for helping us put together this lovely little program. So thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you next week, and happy adventures out there on the Planescape.